Really looking forward to E1 Season 2.
Now we know the E1 Championship gets faster and more competitive, more drivers every single season.
You could see that the competition is getting better and better. It's time to mix things up. It's time to throw more challenges at the teams, more challenges at the drivers.
We've got a new format, well, a new platform anyway, the iRacing platform.
For anybody in the motorsports world or the e-racing world will be very, very familiar with this platform, even if they haven't raced on it.
The iRacing will change things up quite a bit. Different tracks, different cars, and even different kinds of racing.
It's a very comprehensive platform. The handling of the cars, the way that the cars respond around the track will be a lot more realistic.
In race room, the drivers and teams have learned how to have contact without breaking the car. With iRacing, you have to be much more delicate. You can see the damage in the cars when you have the accident. So drivers are going to have to be more circumspect with how they attack their races.
Alex has selected 3 new cars for this season, and all 3 are beautiful.
The IR-01 car, very fast, looks great, and some great racing as well.
We will also be using an IndyCar style, the Dallara IR18.
It's going to be an oval race. That's going to be challenging because oval race is a completely different kettle of fish. And then, of course, the other fixed race will be racing the Lotus 49 car.
Historical Formula One cars is going to be a whole new ballgame.
It's old school driving. There's an old steering wheel there, and there's back end, and there's no real downforce behind you. That will be a real test, particularly for those younger kids who are coming in. If we've got any young teenagers, guys, this is what driving is all about.
So new for season 2, obviously the production is ready, top notch, but we're going to make it even better.
We're going to have even more exclusive content behind the scenes.
It's going to be a 2.5-hour production, so there's more time for analysis and detailed examination of what the teams and drivers are doing. The commentating team is the same. We've got Des and Ammo out there, myself as well.
We also have a new range of host lineup. At the start of the season, we have Adam Carruthers who will be joining us.
Hi, my name's Adam C, and I'm the new host for the E1 Championship. I mean, I talk a lot about football, but really, I'm a fan of all sports, including e-racing. It's going to be dramatic. We're going to have the best races, and it's going to be more exciting than all the previous seasons combined.
We're also going to be joined by a new racer gal, Amanda, who will be helping us. You'll see some snippets of her throughout the show.
Great to have these new faces to bring an extra element to the production.
We've got new talent, and they're younger, and they're robbing me of my rice bowl.
Welcome to E1 Championship Season 2, the most premier sim racing championship brought to you by Evo Club Car Insurance, a pro mileage where you can save 40% off your next car insurance renewal. Find out how much you can save at evoclubinsurance.com. My name is Adam Carruthers. It's a real honor to be here, a real privilege. And we also have the race director, Alex Young, as per usual, alongside me. And on the commentary team, Des Corkill and Amir Hazik, aka Ammo. Gentlemen, hope we're all prepared for today. And in case you're wondering, yes, E1 live races is happening every Wednesday, 9 p.m. on the EGG network. You can follow us on E1 Championship Facebook and the EGG website as well. Alex, the growth of e-racing has been phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, esports full stop. But as the race director, we know what you can do on the track in real life. But how good are you in a simulation?
I'm terrible in the sim. I'm a little bit old for this, but I recognize the importance. And actually, I have been getting on the sim a lot more the last year. And that's what's happening worldwide, you know, because simulated racing is the future. And you can do so much more with it. And you see a lot of the old boys getting on the sims now.
And, I mean, some of those names that we've seen in real life racing, have you spoken to any of them about the realism that you see now in a simulation? I mean, it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, I mean, it is getting better and better. But it's especially important, obviously, during the pandemic because there's no motorsports going on here, especially here in Asia. In Europe there is, but nothing over here. But we also don't have the infrastructure here, so this is the only way you can really get the hours in. And if you believe in the maxim that if you want to become world-class at something, you need to do 10,000 hours on it, the only way to do that is on the simulator. So we see a lot of real-life drivers doing it and making the transition. Even in Formula 1, you got all the new boys that you know about, Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. They're on sims since they were kids. But the old boys like Fernando Alonso and even recently Lewis Hamilton have been getting on the sim.
Okay. Well, let's talk specifically about why we're here today. It's a brand new season. But before we touch on what we can expect, let's reflect on what's already happened. 6 months, 2 seasons in a row, 2 champions crowned, 2 different champions, 2 different teams. I mean, Des, it has been a phenomenal series so far of championships.
Yeah, Adam, it's been very good. Listen, I'm old school. I'm not the target generation here, but I've been blown away by the sporting skills. And in season 1, you had a young Malaysian kid called Naki Baslan who came on, and he won 6 races, got another 6 podiums, was far and away the best. Season 2, he was blown away by a man who calls himself Hamilton, named after a certain racing driver, but Arif Hamilton has the same skills as well. So we've had 2 fantastic champions, and in season 3 we reckon it's even going to be even closer because we've got a wider pool from a wider part of the globe.
Technically, we're still in season 2 because it started on season 0. But Amo, quick one for you. When it comes to looking back on how everything was in the past, were they the favorites to win, the 2 that actually were crowned champions?
It's a change of game, to be honest, for both of them. So they might be caught up by this new racing sim. Yeah, we're not going to call it a game because this is more of a hardcore sim. But those 2 champions, they dominated in race room. Now this is iRacing. It's going to be a whole different ball game for them to put a Premier League context into this.
I'm guessing it's going to be an even more challenging race this time around with even more competitors. But let's just take a visual reflection on everything that happened in season 0 and season 1.
And there's contact with Naki. Naki accelerates away, and despite a puncture, Naki Baslan will take P1, his 3rd win of the season. Naki Baslan has got the victory. Double for Naki. Naki is being aggressive. Contact with Arif, and Naki hits him. What's happened to Naki Baslan? Our first season 0 E1 champion, Naki Baslan. Mohammed Arif Hamilton, who won race 1, 2 and 3, so it's a wonderful start to the season.
Arif will now go for it. He takes the lead.
And a race double goes to Arif Hamilton, win number 5.
Is that Arif's winning? It is. Arif has spun.
Arif has got himself up into P7. It is another victory for Arif Hamilton. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Mohammed Arif Hamilton.
Congratulations to both those winners. Great memories, I'm sure, for everyone who participated or everyone who watched. But for this season, Alex, what exactly is different beyond the obvious, which of course is now iRacing being the platform we're using? What about the tracks? How are you shaking things up? Because no one likes repetition.
Well, I mean, the tracks is kind of good. You know, when you go into some new tracks that we've never been before. And of course, let's not forget iRacing. You know, we've got the oval race. We have an oval race. We've got some night races coming up. So lots of fun things to see.
There's anything in particular that you're looking forward to in season 2 that's going to be different from what we've seen in season 0 and season 1?
Well, the virtual graphics are superb, but I'm looking forward to that oval race that Alex just mentioned. But you can never get away from Spa-Francorchamps. In virtual sim racing, you get a view of Spa and that dip and rise up the hill and the corners and the difficulty of it. You get it in a way that you cannot see in real racing. So I'm looking to Eau Rouge Corner at Spa, and I'm looking to the oval, as well as Silverstone, of course. I am British.
Of course, without a doubt. Alex, competition format, any changes here?
Well, we got quite a few changes. I mean, we have the usual 15-minute race 1 and reverse grid 30-minute race 2. But, you know, like, we have got some mystery tracks and we've got some Joker formats. We tried a Joker format in Season 1, so we really like that. So we'll have some Joker formats, 2 of them this time in Season 2, where we just tell what the format is on the actual day. So the drivers and teams don't have a chance to prepare, and that'll be interesting for them.
I still have memories of you being out there on the track in real life. And let's take a look at your selection of tracks for this year, because you have a history with pretty much all of these.
Yeah, I've been through all of them actually, but yeah, let me start off with Interlagos. We've never been to South America. This is a rough ride. We're going to see it tonight. A lot of elevation changes. Track that has a lot of accents actually. Very tricky indeed. Then from Interlagos, we stay in the Americas, but we go north. We go to North America, Canada, in fact. Jules Villeneuve circuit. We've never been there before as well. Slipstream Fest. This will be a lot of fun. And then we go to that track we were also keen to go to, which is the Oval. Indianapolis. This will be in the IndyCar. Flat out racing. It's going to be so much fun. Then we hit the mystery tracks. One mystery track for round 4, and then we come to round 5, which is Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, we have to go here. We always go here. Best track in the world. Then we leave Spa for round 6, and that'll be a mystery track. Before going to Monza in Italy for round 7. This will be very similar to Canada. Again, a lot of overtaking, and it's to be a historic track where we go around the banking as well. And then finish off at round 8 at Silverstone Circuit. Again, like Spa, lots of high-speed tracks, very demanding to drive, but you have a lot of overtaking here as well. So good racing there.
Des, do you have a favorite track beyond Silverstone because of your British heritage, of course, but in terms of sheer racing drama, does anything stand out?
Well, I've been introduced to a lot of these thanks to Alex and his involvement with me in e-racing. That Eau Rouge corner, you cannot understand how difficult it is until you see it in a sim. Even in a sim, it's scary going down the hill and then you bottom out at the bottom, come up and then you've got a fairly sharp right. It is spectacular. That will be a moment that I'll be working very hard on directing.
You know, Amo, to give the viewers a little peek behind the curtain, we've actually been able to do some rehearsals for this with the drivers, so it didn't count for anything, but it was amazing to see what happened at Monza. That got me excited. My jaw was dropping as we were watching the rehearsals.
Yeah, especially the fact that we had instances of where there were start line incidents. Two guys flipped over the barrier. We're not going to not drop any names, but that one driver who actually managed to get away from that scuffle decided to actually just run away with the race win. So that might be interesting to see what the stewards will have to do for that. But yes, that Monza round with the Lotus 49 is something that we're going to look forward to. Absolutely amazing racing. If you remember the John Frankenheimer movie from 1966 called Grand Prix, you'll know what I mean. That banking is amazing to watch.
It is quite a memory that you have. A quick one from you, Alex. What about your favorite track? Because you have a personal connection to all of them, racing on them.
Yeah, I mean, the oval race is going to be fun. We're also going to throw up some night races as well. That'll be interesting because we've never done any night races as well. But the oval race will be fun. It's on a different track, a different car as well. We won't be driving the IR01. We'll talk about the cars in a second. But it'll be a specific IndyCar for that track. Oval racing is a completely different mindset. The teams, the drivers are going to get used to it. The way you set up the car is different. The strategies, the fuel saving. And you have to approach it with a very calm way. You can't ever attack that kind of track because if you do, you end up in the wall. And it's going to be seeing who has the discipline to do well there.
We'll also have to see which cars will adapt the best to the selected track. So let's go through the 3 you've gone for here, Alex. Yep. 2 very modern-looking cars and 1 very retro but still beautiful vehicle.
Yeah. Well, we're E1, so we have to go with the fastest car. This Formula 1-esque IR01. We do most of the races there. Then there's that IndyCar talking about the Dallara IR18. And of course the Lotus 49. And look how beautiful that car is. That's going to be on the banks. So the Dallara IR01 will be doing most of the races on. That'll be open setup, so the teams will really get a chance to know it. But to make it easier, we've got to fix setups for the Dallara on the oval race, so you don't have to worry about setup. And again, for the Lotus 49, it'll be fixed setup as well for that one race around the banking of Monza.
Due respect, I mean, Des, to the Dallaras, they look great, yes, but they're very modern. There's that essence of history that belongs to the Lotus 49, of heritage. Which car excites you the most? Because I can't look away from the Lotus.
You've taken the words out of my mouth. I'm really excited to see the Lotus. When I was growing up, that's what Formula One used to be. You had the open top and you had no downforce, real steering wheel, very, very little suspension. So probably a nightmare to drive, but very spectacular. And I'm really looking forward to see how the younger sim racers in particular are able to cope with the old school cars. It's proper driving, boys. Proper driving.
Great point you bring up, though. So, Amo, for you, how difficult is it going to be to adapt to using something like the Lotus, which has a visible lack of technology, compared to the Dallaras?
Yep, the visible lack of technology includes no aerodynamics because after the car was introduced in 1969, that's where we get full aerodynamics. So those cars are going to be absolutely interesting to drive, and for the drivers to drive, for us to watch, especially on the ovals of Monza. where these cars can still reach 300 kilometers per hour, even back in the 60s, is going to be fun to watch virtually.
Alex, for the race director's position, you've chosen the tracks and the cars. Is there any advice for the drivers out there about the suitability of the cars, the tires to the tracks that you've selected? Or if you just purposely try to make it as hectic as possible?
Well, I mean, there's no advice I could give. And these are, to all intents and purposes, professional drivers and professional teams. They know what they're doing. So they wouldn't listen to me anyway. But, you know, we want the best drivers to win. That's what the sport's about. And because it is a sport, it's not just a lottery. But we want to make it hard for them. We have to challenge them, you know, so that they're fighting all the way to the very end, so that they can the best guys will win, but they'll win in the last corner of the last lap of the season.
Okay, we're only just scratching this itch right here. There's so much more that we could get into. So the rules, the format, the track and the car info, and the prize pool. Here's Amanda with the lowdown.
Hello everyone, I'm Amanda Andrea, the very first race girl for the E1 Championship, the most premier sim racing championship in Southeast Asia. I'll be bringing you all the weekly updates of the race details and information for the season. The drivers and teams will race across 8 of the world's most challenging virtual circuits for a chance at the championship title and of course, cash prizes. Round 1 begins in Autódromo José Carlos Pace, which is better known as Interlagos, Brazil. It was named after Brazilian Formula 1 driver Carlos Pace, who died in a plane crash in 1977. It's also one of the most celebrated Formula 1 circuits located in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Interlagos, Brazil is an anti-clockwise circuit with a total length of 4.309 kilometers. It also has 15 turns in total. It has one of the longest pit lanes ever used in Formula 1. Interlagos is F1's second highest track in terms of altitude, with the highest point at 781.9 meters above sea level. The elevation difference between the highest and lowest point is 43 meters. Now that's practically the same height of Paris's famous Arc de Triomphe. It has hosted the Formula 1 Brazilian Grand Prix since 1973, and its fastest lap record was 1 minute and 10.54 seconds, made by Valtteri Bottas. In round 1, drivers will be driving the main car of the season, an Italian beauty, the Dallara IR01. With a history of producing incredible on-track battles, the Dallara IR01 is powered by a 3-liter V10 engine, giving it 900 horsepower, which allows it to go from 0 to 100 kilometers in 1.2 seconds. Now it also has a top speed of 346 kilometers per hour, resulting in a car that is a thrill to drive. The Dallara IR01 weighs around 600 kgs with a maximum fuel capacity of 80 liters. Now let's move on to the race format. Each round we will have 1 qualifying race and 2 main races. We begin with a 10-minute qualifying race to determine the starting position, followed by a 15-minute sprint race and a 30-minute reverse grid race. The top 5 in the qualifying will be given points, and the top 15 in race 1 and race 2 will also be given points, and an additional 2 points will be given to the driver with the fastest lap in the race. At the end of the finish line of all 8 rounds, the drivers and teams with the highest accumulated points will take home the championship title and trophy. The total prize pool of $16,000 is up for grabs this season. Our champion of the season will walk away with $4,000 and a trophy, followed by the first, second, third, and fourth runner-up. And this season, we have also added cash prizes and trophies for the team championship as well. The team champion of the season will walk away with $4,000 and a trophy, followed up by the first, second, third, and fourth runner-up. Hey, good luck to all of you, and may the fastest win.
Thanks there to Amanda. I mean, that's a very sizable prize, Alex, but if there's one thing I've learned from speaking to sportsmen, professionals in every field, is how competitive you are. What matters more here, for you anyway, the prize money, what's an offer, or the ability to be able to brag, to have the rights to do so?
Yeah, the prestige, the bragging rights has always mattered. I can't understand how yeah, okay, I guess you get older, but for me, it's always about the prestige. It's a bit like I'd rather do the Olympics than play pro somewhere else. You know, but it's different these days, isn't it? It's all about the money.
It certainly is. Des, I know that you're very much a romantic when it comes to sports. So where do you fall on this? Is it the prize money that's important, or that romanticism of being able to say I am the best?
Well, the romance comes, I think, Adam, with me because I was never good enough to be paid to play sports, but that's another story in particular. But you've got to want to do it. You can't be motivated by money, unlike some millennials I know.
Yeah, I would say the money will count for sure because $16,000 up for grabs for both the drivers and the teams. They'll definitely go for the money. They don't care about the brag rights. All they care about at the end of the day is their bank accounts filling up.
That's true. Alex, before we go for a break, I think this might be the most important question that I ask you all day. The qualities. What qualities are you looking for in a champion?
Wow, fast. But, I mean, they're all champions in every sport, have very similar qualities. You might have different flavors to it. You might have different styles of aggression. Styles might be different, but they all have the same qualities. The dedication, the focus, the hunger, the discipline. They don't have, there's so many factors. If you're a 9 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10 out of all these, you'll never do it.
Des, I need to throw in one word there. Gamesmanship. The ability to just see off your rivals on the track.
Yeah, it can get pretty naughty out there. I mean, we mentioned Naki and Arif, and they raced very well, but they're not above the dark arts, which is just using your weight. In football, you can use your weight in the right way. These racers do it in exactly the same way as well. So it's not all lollipops and singing and happy clouds. There's a few dark arts in there as well. Look out for that. They're good fun.
Yeah, that's always what happens when you get to this level of racing. We're going to go for a quick commercial break. Our analysis will continue. Plus, we're going to head straight over to the track for qualifying. Be right back.
So for this season, which teams and drivers are back? First, of course, we've got the big two, Team Flash and Stars Motorsports.
It's difficult to look beyond Flash, Arif Hamilton, and Naki, the two champions from Season 0 and Season 1.
Also, the usual guys, Black Arts Racing will be there, GT Radio, Eurasia, Safe House. These are all teams that are capable of winning races and fighting for the championship.
Some new names as well. We've got Apex E-Racing, but we all might remember them as I1 Racing from last season.
Also, don't forget, there is a prize money for teams and drivers this season. So teams are going to be under a lot more pressure to be stronger with their teammates for Team Championship.
Really looking forward to this. We know who the established stars are. Can they be picked off? That's the big question ahead of the 8 rounds of Season 2.
Welcome back to E1 Season 2, Round 1 at Interlagos, Brazil. I can promise you this, in mere moments we'll be heading to the track, but if you're wondering about future episodes, don't worry. Live race every Wednesday, 9 p.m. on EG Network and E1 Facebook as well, so make sure you give us a like and a follow. The most important part of any race, of any championship, it's not the track, it's not the cars, it's the drivers. They make the race. So Alex and Des, talk us through everyone lining up on the grid for this championship.
Okay, we have to start obviously with the champions from last season. Muhammad Alif, who was the champion. He's joined by Muhammad Ibrahim in Team Flash. Don't forget, he was dropped by Stratos halfway through Season 1, but he's back and he's hungry to try and win.
Stratos Motorsports, represented by Naki Baslan. He's got 10 race wins in E1 Championship. Dominic Ang, his new partner, an experienced Malaysian, will be a good foil for the former champion.
And then we have Singapore-based team Black Wolf Racing. Kaelin Chin, he'll be one to watch out. Don't forget how many races he won towards the end of Season 1. And Mika Hakimi, who's always been the bridesmaid, who's still not won a race yet in E1 Championship.
Potential wild card comes from Philippines. Inigo Anton was 4th in Season 0 of the E1 Championship. He's joined once again by Joaquim Garrido. They are the white colours from Philippines.
And here are the dark horses, Safe House, literally. Miko Nasi, who was 3rd in Season 0, but he'll be back and fighting for the championship this season. And Joshua Thomas, he's one of the best iRacers in the world, so he'll be one to look out for.
Black Arts Racing, Josh Purwin and Luke Bannister, 2 young Australians, both with a good pedigree. Purwin 5th in the championship last season, Bannister making his debut.
And then we got Apex E Racing. Arif Asmi is back. And of course, Mohammed Zini, both teenagers, and they're really the future of the sport. They'll be one to watch out for the future as well.
The next generation young is on display for Slipstream Motorsport. Alistair is alongside Ivan Vantagiato, who had a couple of races last season in E1 Championship. Looking to see how the Australian does.
And they've got Team EGG. Got Wheel and Joy there. He was there the last 2 seasons, a YouTuber. Of course, Aaron Lim, very experienced, famous driver here in Malaysia. A1 Team Malaysia driver. He'll be one to look out for too.
And then the icons, Tunku Jon, we know him as a drifter, but he can also sim race very, very nicely. And Keithley Othman joins the old boys in that team. Come on, the old boys.
Thanks for that, guys. And Alex, I mean, we could sit here for 2 hours and analyze each driver and each team. We don't have the time, but with new pairings, new chemistry, does anybody stand out for you individually or as a team?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, Team Flash with Alif and Ibrahim, they're going to be factors. Who else? Naki, that's a Season 0 champion, he'll be there. Kaelin Chin, you know, he won so many races in Season 1, he'll be strong. 3 Aussies, you know, from Black Arts Racing and Josh Thomas in Safe House, and Miko Nasi, actually. You know, he had a poor Season 1. I think he'll be back really strong for Season 2.
Amo, I know you're still there. I want to get a few words from you on this because having a chance to see the drivers in action, I mean, temperament plays a huge part here and coolness under pressure as well.
Absolutely, and some guys are cool operators than others, and for certain drivers like last season, Alif Hamilton, he was completely cool. He had all the right makings of trying to put together a championship, and he did it. Likewise, Naki Baslan as well, except he had quite a few instances where he nearly lost his cool and had to resort to bare aggression. But overall, those 2 guys, they put in championship campaigns without any faults. They scored points in all the sessions and all the races. So that's the key here. Temperament and also the fact that they can keep cool under pressure.
There's that romantic side of you came out just now looking at all the drivers. You highlighted the oldies, I think as you put it. What makes you stand next to them, wanting them to do well? Do you think they will do well?
Yeah, I think they will because Tunku Jon in another competition that I work on, he's been having some terrific races. He's not won one yet, but he's had a couple of podium finishes, so look out for Tunku Jon. But I think it's really difficult to look beyond Alif Hamilton. He was champion for a reason. He was a standout champion, and he set a standard that others have really got to reach.
Yeah, on a new platform, it could be very, very interesting for those established names we've already mentioned. Let's head over to Amanda once again to talk to us through about qualifying.
Hello from Interlagos, Sao Paulo. Today's weather is partly cloudy at 30 degrees Celsius. The air humidity is at 70% and wind speeds are at 5 kilometers per hour. Now the 10 minutes qualifying will be starting very shortly. It is a very important round as the qualifying results will determine the driver's starting position in race 1. Besides that, the top 5 qualifiers will also be given points. And as we know, every point counts, and every race will make or break their standings. Now let's hear some thoughts from the team in the studio.
Okay, yes, just a reminder that the Premier Sim Racing Championship has got a sponsor, Evo Club Car Insurance. With Pro Mileage, you can save up to 40% on your car insurance. I'll have a little look at that. EvoClubInsurance.com, the place to go. The place we are going now is the qualification. Amo, what are you expecting here? Interlagos is an awkward circuit, and it's anti-clockwise, which is very unusual.
Yep, and in real life, the driver's neck will be tested to the breaking point because most drivers are used to clockwise circuits. This one is one of the very few in the world that is actually anti-clockwise. The other one being Istanbul Park and Yongan in South Korea, just to name a few. So it's a completely different ball game to drive on when it's an anti-clockwise circuit. But I think these guys can actually handle it. It's no problem because especially in virtual racing, you don't use the neck that much.
We've got a 10-minute qualification window, which obviously sets the grid for race number 1, which is a 15-minute sprint race. Luke Bannister first out here. He's one of these new Australians who we are anticipating will raise the standard even higher than it was in Season 0 and Season 1. Let's have a little look at how he goes around Interlagos. Can you maybe just talk us through his circuit?
Yep, we'll wait until he gets back around to the start-finish straight to actually really take a lap around the circuit. But Bannister is one of those guys that we had attacked yesterday during the rehearsals, and he was quite stoic, to be honest. I hope he can actually catch a bit of a smile if he were to actually win here today. But he is actually, judging by the looks of it, in pre-season, he just wants to throw the gauntlet and get on with it. So then, coming up to the final sector now. This is about turn 12, turn 13 out of June South. Into the start-finish straight about in a few moments' time. Past the pit lane, and we're on here for a lap around the Autódromo José Carlos Pache, or otherwise known as Interlagos. Coming up to the center assist. This is second or third gear, depends on how confident drivers are on the throttle. And look at that, that's actually quite fast. That's how fast the car gets out of there, through Curva del Sol, and that will be probably the end of sector 1 by about here. We go to Descida do Lago, which also means lake descent in Portuguese. This is where Max Verstappen's dad, Jos Verstappen, had an accident with Juan Pablo Montoya where he ran to the back of him. Both drivers had to retire at that time. Coming out to turn 6 and 7 and 8, this is full commitment. It's almost full throttle because these cars' aerodynamics are actually really that good that it sticks through. Look at that. Not much histrionics there. It's just well planted. Through turn 9 and coming out to turn 10, this is Bico de Pato, aka the duck bill in Portuguese. Another crucial part here where you can get overtaking done, unlike what happened to Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton back in 2019, where Albon got punted around by Hamilton. And speaking of Hamilton, this is coming up to the corner that where he won his first World Championship, aka is that Glock corner, and is a crucial part of the lap where you can actually get a good exit. You will actually get a good lap time around here. So Bannister then coming out to the line now through turn 14, and that's a lap around the Autódromo José Carlos Pache.
And his lap time will stretch up. He goes fastest. He's the first one out, and immediately Mohammed Ibrahim puts in a 1:07.51. Now, Mohammed Ibrahim, we've not really spoken about him, an Indian racing out of Kuala Lumpur, but he was involved in a contretemps last season where he was forced to swap sides. But this fella has got some real talent.
Indeed. You might say that working personally wise, it might be a bit of a handful because, you know, very fast driver, they tend to have these kind of like mentalities where it's different than others. But in terms of talent, there's no question. And look at that. 9/10 up on Mikko Nassi in the first round of the season in qualifying. He really is throwing the content right now. He means business.
That is a really, really quick lap. It was a 1:07.51. How do we get him through his sectors here? He's just coming up to the end of his second lap, I understand. Yep, there he is. Mohammed Ibrahim. Let's have a look. Off the beaten track there, but you can use the full width of Interlagos. Doesn't seem to have been stopping him. A 1:07.51 was his first lap time. Is he able to improve on that? We will find out very, very shortly. 1:07.51, the time to beat in his second lap. Ooh, he's 600ths out. It's still another quick lap.
Wow, wait. Consistency there. And it looks like we're going to have another Team Flash driver dominating, albeit it's not Arif Hamilton. In fact, speaking of Arif, where is he? I don't see him in the timing charts. Just there he is. He has not recorded a time just about yet, but he might be overshadowed slightly by his fast teammate in this first round.
Well, let's have a look with Alif. We've been following them quite a long way round. Qualification, 6 minutes still to go, so they shouldn't worry too much. There's a lot of time in this 10 minutes. It was 5 minutes last year, which put a bit of pressure on them, but you can actually just have a little look, see who's setting the times. And Alif Hamilton, well, so far so good. Hasn't put a time in so far. The time to beat a 1:07.51. That is quick.
Yeah, that is quick. And I would say these are a bit like pre-season jitters. In fact, to put it in F1 perspective, we haven't had Interlagos as the opening round of the championship for Formula 1 since 1995 because we're so used to it having towards the end of the season. So for this to have a bit of synchronicity towards that, it's quite nice to see. So pre-season jitters wise, yeah, you might say that it's only early doors. It's just like they're trying to get used to the game so far. And Interlagos is a completely different track for all of them, having been on racing for the last couple of seasons.
He's just coming round at shop. So the elevation here, it rises up about 40 or 50 meters from the highest point to the lowest point. Does that reflect itself in the game?
Yeah, it does actually. In fact, all the tracks in iRacing, every one of them are laser scans because iRacing have the technology, and that's why we have that kind of accuracy up to, if not mistaken, 20 millimeters. That's how close the accuracy of the circuits are in iRacing. And for Interlagos, in this case, it's a bit of an older scan. In fact, it was one of the very early circuits that appeared out in the games. In the sim. I should say sim, because if I say game, I might be on the bad side of a lot of iRacing folks. But this sim has had this track for a long time, and we will probably hopefully see an update of that circuit one day.
Alif was more than a second down on Mohammed Ibrahim. Ibrahim has just blown this field away. A phenomenal time by Mohammed Ibrahim.
And to put that into perspective, I think he's so confident at lap time, he's actually pitted in. He will not want to actually improve that lap time. He knows that he's already good enough for pole. So 9/10 ahead of this guy, Mikko Nassi, as we look at Alif Hamilton in the inset.
Bannister's just posted a quick time.
Okay,
Luke Bannister We followed him very early on, and Bannister has posted a 108.37. It's still nearly a second down. How do you explain that form from Ibrahim? Because he came into the sim very, very late.
I think you might say he's back with vengeance after what happened last time out in Season 1, where he got, well, not acrimoniously dumped, but for personal reasons we cannot mention, he was removed from the Stratos team. Now, he's back here with Team Flash, the defending team's champion, 8-10s ahead. That's just saying it's an absolute statement. If you guys want to beat me, you have to beat me fair and square and fast.
Luke Bannister, we're with him at the moment, will just break away from Luke and go on to his teammate Josh Perwin. Josh Perwin, same vehicle, but different white gloves. And Josh Perwin's got himself into P3 at the moment, as Nassi's just posted a 108.32, Perwin a 108.36. So this Australian challenge is looking pretty strong, because Arif is out of the reckoning at the moment. And let's have a look at Naki Baslan. He's only P9 at the moment. There's only Ibrahim inside 108.
Yeah, I was about to put that out there. Only Ibrahim is in the 107s, and it's in the mid 107s exactly, 500 there. So really, he's the only guy that has actually got this track and car combo nailed down. Unless Bannister can have a say in that. Nope. He's the only one who's on the 107s.
Perwin's just gone P2. Perwin's just gone P2.
Close to a 107s there.
Luke Bannister and Josh Thomas. There are 3 Aussies on the first 2 rows of the grid. Right, where are we? Arif Hamilton. I tell you what, son, your crown is under real challenge. Let's see what kind of fast lap he's able to put this time around. There's only 2.5 minutes left in qualification. So he's got this lap and maybe one more to get into the top 5 and the point scoring. Arif Hamilton currently a 108.67, his best lap time. Where is he at the moment as he comes around this left-hander, goes on to the final left-hander? Talk to me about his style at the moment.
Smooth as usual, as we can see, as he comes up to the corner that lends his favorite driver's name, which is Lewis Hamilton's corner, Kaelin Chin. He looks as though he's struggling for pace here right now. About 1.1 seconds off Ibrahim, so not a good start to the season so far, but if he can improve to get closer than that, at least he could limit the damage. He comes across the line now, and his improvement is 7th, but still over a second behind Ibrahim. Ibrahim's pace is so scintillating.
The best of the fast Filipinos, Inigo Anton, he's about to come in as well. He's got a 108.67, P8 at the moment. For the man who came 4th in the championship, isn't able to improve that. Naki Baslan is out of the running as well. He's got a slow lap time as well. So everybody has posted lap times. There's still a minute and a half left, but I think nobody else is going to get out on the track there. Mohamed Zini unable to post any kind of a lap time at the moment.
And so is Whelan Cho. In fact, Whelan also is just about, he just crossed the line, 5.9 seconds off. So he's on the back foot from the word go, and he has a lot of work to do here in the first round of the season.
So nobody is actually on the circuit at the moment because they wouldn't be able to complete a lap. But I can tell you, we've got Ibrahim on the front row. He will pick up 5 points for that. Alongside him is Josh Perwin. Perwin 5th in the championship last year. 2 new boys, Bannister and Thomas, both Australians, are on the 2nd row of the grid. Miko Nassi on the 3rd row of the grid. It means that the likes of Kaelin Chin, Arif, Inigo Anton are all out of the reckoning. Amo Hazik. We have got a bit of an upset in the early stages already. Inigo Anton out 7, but Arif out of the points and will start on the 4th row of the grid.
Interesting. So it seems that the iRacing specialists have come to the fore, and the likes of Ibrahim, Perwin, Bannister, Thomas, and Nassi, the top 5, are all notorious. Well, notorious, I say in a good way, iRacing drivers, while Kaelin's also up there as well in 6th. So interesting to see there how this will line up for the first race of the season, where the iRacing guys have taken over here.
Okay, right. Qualification is officially over. Mohamed Ibrahim has blown this field wide apart. iRacing has made one heck of a difference in season 2, the first round. Tell you, it's going to be a different season, Alex Young.
What a lap.
That was phenomenal. That was absolutely phenomenal. Blistering pace. Kind of caught me by surprise, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, Alex, I believe we're about to get Mohamed Ibrahim into the chat right now. Do you have any questions?
Well, Ibrahim, talk to us. 7/10 on pole by 7/10 around Indianapolis. Please don't tell me you had another half a second in your back pocket or something. Was that a good lap?
Yeah. Hello everyone. Yeah, it was a good lap. Yeah. I had a couple of tents in the bag, but
drivers. Drivers. Well, I mean, phenomenal. Talk us through the lap. But what's your preparation been? Because you've blown everyone away in qualifying so far.
yeah, I mean, my lap was basically as clean as possible. You know, I didn't try to overdo anything, so I just kept the lap clean and not to do anything stupid.
How much preparation have you put in preparation for the season?
Unfortunately, for the first round, I didn't have as much time as I wanted, as I was a bit busy just before the race. But I'm happy with the time I spent.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask you about strategy because you're not going to tell us. How do you think the race is going to play out anyway?
Yeah, I think the race is going to be quite tough because it'll be a lot of slipstream and things like that. Yeah. So hopefully we can keep it clean.
Okay, soft tires. Obviously, soft tires for 15-minute race.
I mean, you can see at the start.
Yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations. Good luck for race 1.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Congratulations once again to Mohammed Ibrahim. We know that he's in P1, but Des, talk us through the rest of the grid.
Yeah, so the season has started with a bang. Mohammed Ibrahim will pick up 5 points for the qualification, the fastest time. Look at that, though. 7 tenths quicker than Josh Perwin. Luke Bannister and Josh Thomas say the new boys are here to stay. Great for Black Arts Racing, 2nd and 3rd there. Miko Nassi for Axel Sports on P5 alongside Kaelin Chin. Alif and Inigo Anton on the 4th row of the grid. Naki Baslan alongside his teammate for Stratos Motorsports down on the 5th row of the grid in P9. Questions are being asked. Very, very competitive from Othman as well and Tunku Jon. They put in decent lap times, but wow, what a start from Mohammed Ibrahim. This season is going to be different than either of the two we've had so far.
Excellent. That's all just from the qualifying. I can't wait till we actually get some proper racing done with all the cars out there on the track. We have the sprint race in just a few minutes, but we have to go for a quick commercial break. When we return, we have that and more.
Hi everybody, I'm Inigo Anton.
My name is Garida
From GT Radio Eurasia Motorsport.
Hi, I'm Mick Grassi
My name's Josh.
from Safe House.
Hi everyone, my name is Ivan Vantajato. I'll be racing under the Slipstream Motorsport team.
Hello, I'm Arif Asmi.
I'm Muhammad Zini
from Apex E-Racing.
Hi, I'm Naki Baslan.
I'm Dominic Ang from Stardust Motorsports.
I'm Ali from Team Flash.
I'm Mohammed Ibrahim, racing for Team Flash.
Hi, I'm Kaelin Chin.
I'm Mika Hakimi from Black Wolf Racing.
Hi, my name is Willen. I'm from Team EGG.
Hi, I'm Aaron Lim.
Hi, I'm Just Perwin.
My name's Luke.
Competing once again with Black Arts Racing.
Hi, I'm Kiki Osman.
My name is Tunku Jon.
Really looking forward to season 2 of the E1 Championship.
Better, stronger, and quicker with my whole team.
Watch out for us, we might surprise you.
We are super thrilled to be here.
Looking forward and excited.
This is going to be a fantastic season.
Do look out for us.
I'd like to thank Alex Young for inviting me
to join the race.
New season of E1, new team. Let's see how we do.
That Kaelin that you fought against at the end of season 1 is the Kaelin you're going to be fighting against the entirety of season 2.
I'll see all the other drivers out on track.
We shall see when the 5 lights is out.
See everyone on track.
Team EGG. Yes, you can go. Let's go, bro.
Hi, welcome back once again. Season 2 of the E1 Championship. We just had the qualifiers, and it's safe to say that the breakout performance there belonged to Mohammed Ibrahim. We just spoke to him moments ago, but that's a very positive thing, Alex. Who do you think was going to be disappointed from their result in qualifying?
Everyone. You know, there are a lot of drivers there that were expecting to be fighting for pole position, and okay, maybe they can understand getting beaten on the day, but 7 tenths is a big amount. It's a big gap, especially at Interlagos. So going to be a lot of long faces on Zoom right now, going, "Wow, that's a big chunk," and they'll be, but they're race car drivers, you know. They'll be thinking straight away, "Okay, what can I do? What can I do with the setup, maybe?" And they won't give up. There's 2 races right now. They can still turn things around.
Yeah, of course, we still have the sprint race. That will be commencing momentarily. And then we have the reverse grid, which will be much later on. But if you missed out on the qualifying, if you missed out on the positions where everybody finished, just a little recap of what happened. I mean, of course, Mohammed Ibrahim, we know how well he's done. Yeah. But looking at some of these other positions, Alex, who do you feel is under pressure now?
Well, first of all, you have to talk about Ibrahim's teammate, Muhammad Ali. I mean, he is the reigning champion. I'm actually not too surprised to see him so far down, to be honest, because I know he's got a lot of national service right now, so he hasn't had a chance to do any training for this. In fact, he was working last night, in fact, when everyone was testing here. So there is a reason why he's not as quick as he should be. But, you know, it's his team. He'll be under pressure to do something in the race later.
All right, we're going to try to speak to him in just a moment. Des, why don't you talk us through what happened during the qualifying?
Certainly will. Well, Mohammed Ibrahim blew us away. Not only one fast lap, he actually had a second fast lap, which was only 600ths down. So it wasn't a flash in the pan. It wasn't a one-off. What really impressed me, though, was the way the new Australians, Josh Thomas and Bannister, came through and got themselves into really good high positions. They got points, as well as Josh Perwin. Josh is somebody we always expect to do better than he does. He doesn't smile a lot. He doesn't give away a lot of his emotions. He can be pretty cynical in how he races, but that P2 for him, that'll give him a vast amount of confidence as well. But Naqib and Arif, that gauntlet has been thrown down and slapped in your face.
Just phenomenal what we saw from him. And we're going to try to get Josh Perwin into the conversation in just a moment. I think he could be here now from Black Arts Racing to talk us through how he found the track today. I'm sure, Alex, that you'll have a few questions to ask him. Before we do that, though, just a quick graphic for everything that happened during the qualifying as well, so everybody will be fully understanding of the situation we're in right now ahead of the sprint race. And I just find this amazing. I did not see Mohammed Ibrahim coming into this position. Really, I just... Did you foresee this, Alex, in any way?
Yeah. No, he's a very much an air racing specialist. I thought he'd be in the battle for pole position, but I did not expect 7/10. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, that is certainly true. Okay, let's just take a look once again at the result. As promised, of course, we can't read too much into it just yet. Of course, there are some points to be won if you are Mohammed Ibrahim right at the top. As for everyone else, there'll be plenty more points to be won later on during the sprint race and also during the reverse grid. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating in terms of strategy, where you want to finish, where you want to start as well when it comes to the sprint race. Here we have it, the qualifying round. It's still early days. Again, there's so many more points to be won throughout the course of the entire championship. We cannot read into this too much at all, Des.
I don't know. You know what? That's such a quick lap, and Ibrahim has shown in the past that he's good enough to be on podiums. If he's good enough to be on Team Flash alongside Arif, maybe he can, with this early start, point himself as a potential contender. This is not going to be a runaway championship, I can tell you that. Perwin will not let you. I'm loving the fact the Aussies are in there. Miko Nasi, he will have been buoyed to do his best, because having come 3rd and 4th in the 2 previous series, he's got something to prove. This is going to be a really competitive year, and it's starting off right on the very first qualification.
Looking at that on the board, Alex, the psychological aspect, of course, as well. You've made a statement early doors as well that could have a huge impact on the rest of the races.
Yeah.
So let's get someone in right now for the conversation from Black Arts Racing, as promised. First up, we've got Josh Perwin. Talk us through how he found the race today, Alex.
Josh, we've got to talk to you. How do you qualify go?
Look, I'm happy with P2. I think that's the maximum we could get today. Ibrahim's just on another level with iRacing, so our goal is to try and just see if we can get some positions maybe in race 2 on him. But yeah, I think I think that was the best I could do, so I was happy with second.
I heard you in the lobby just now talking about setups being quite important here at Interlagos. You think Ibrahim's got something?
I was kind of basing if he had a good setup or not, depending on where Alif qualified, but Alif was quite far back, so maybe they're on different setups, or maybe it's just the driving, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, that would explain the gap, because it was a very big gap. But, okay, what's the strategy for the race? Because obviously the first corner is going to be important. You can slipstream here, so if you can look after the tyres, stay in the slipstream, you can still win this race, eh?
Yeah, maybe if I can stay in the slipstream of Ibrahim, especially at the start, I can hopefully pull away from the rest if there's a bit of carnage behind this. Getting the start in these cars is quite tricky as well, so got to make sure I nail that, and then the first couple of rounds just try and avoid incidents as much as possible. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks very much. Good luck for both races.
Thank you.
Thanks to Josh. Now, we've mentioned Mohammed Arif quite a few times here, the pressure he must be feeling right now. He's from Team Flash. He's just seen his teammate do exceptionally well. Alex, I'm sure you've got some burning questions for Muhammad Ali.
Well, yeah, I want to talk. Alif, our champion, how did the qualifying go for you?
I mean, I mean, you could see from the lap times that it wasn't exceptional. But yeah, I mean, no excuses for myself. Even though with all the national service, I expect myself to push even harder. But I mean, it didn't happen. But yeah, we got a race to go. I'm very happy for Ibrahim as well because I mean, you can see like the top 6 are all iRacing specialists. Yeah. And I was kind of pushing for Ibrahim to be on our team so that I can kind of learn as much as I can. So I'm glad that he's on pole, and I'll just try to do as much as I can to try to help him and gain as much points for the team.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a bit of a coup for you guys to take him. Like Adam was saying, that it came out of nowhere, but you guys obviously saw that was possible. But this is still early days. It's only first qualifying. You've got 2 races to go, especially the reverse grid race in the second race. That'll be very tricky as well.
Yeah, very much. I think it depends on where we finish. I think in race 1 and how good of a start and how we manage our tires. I think that's going to be key because the temperatures are 37 degrees, which is very high. So everyone's going to be struggling on that front. So we just try to get as much as we can and limit the damage.
Okay, well, good luck for both races, man.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Thank you.
Many thanks to Muhammad Ali. Confidence. Alex, I mean, confidence is key for any of the racers out there today. And like you said, he's had his national service. He's not quite as familiar with iRacing as some of the other people that we've seen today performing exceptionally well. Do you think that's going to play a role today?
Well, Alif is actually one of the more complete drivers in the region, so his racecraft is very good. He's very good at optimizing that, so I'm going to be interested to watch that. Doing the one quick lap time is one thing. You've got to think about the racecraft as well and the consistency. Ibrahim's, I mean, he's going to be favourite for the race 1 win, I think, because 7/10 is a big gap. But, you know, when it comes down to racecraft and maximizing that, looking after the tyres, Alif will be right there. So he'll be quietly confident he can get something from both the races.
All right, just a really quick one on strategies ahead of the sprint race. It's going to be starting in just a moment. What do you think? Because you asked that to the drivers.
Yeah, it's too hot. 37 degrees makes a big difference in iRacing, so I'm not sure they can make the soft tyres last. So we'll see some different strategies, some maybe on the medium tyre.
All right, we're almost ready for the race. I can't wait for it. First, though, here's Amanda.
Congratulations to our top 5 qualifiers. Over the years, Interlagos have witnessed a number of memorable races, from the early wins by Fittipaldi and Pace to Senna's emotional victory in the 1991 Brazilian Grand Prix. And of course, the 2008 race that saw Lewis Hamilton edge Felipe Massa for the World Championship on the final lap of the season. And coming up, it's race 1, the very first race of the season. Who will claim the first podium in Interlagos tonight? A 15-minute sprint race is coming your way. The top 15 will be given points, and an additional 2 points will be given for the fastest lap. Good luck to all.
So, we are all set for the sprint race. I'm Amo Hazik alongside me for the commentary. We have been blown away by Muhammad Ibrahim. The iRacing platform is clearly a different beast to Race Room as we had in the first two series. How big of a difference?
Quite big actually, especially the fact that the iRacing tire physics are way different compared to Race Rooms. Race Rooms 1, they don't really change much compared to iRacing. iRacing, they've had a completely different tire model for every single build per season. So it's completely different, and the way the cars handle are absolutely different as well. So for these drivers who are used to racing for the past couple of seasons, it's a bit of a culture shock for them to go into iRacing.
Okay, let's go over to Interlagos. A change of sim. I nearly called it game then. I'm listening to you, Amo. I do listen to you. Muhammad Alif is the man who is under the most pressure. The race will get underway in about 25. Oh well, the race is soon to get underway. The grid shows on the left-hand side. The left-hand side graphics will show you where we are in terms of the race positions. The grid will come up in just a moment, but Ibrahim and Josh Perwin on the front row, the grid. There we go. Thomas and Bannister on the second row, Black Arch Racing, both out of Australia. Nasi and Kaelin Chin on the third row. Alif alongside Inigo Anton from the Philippines GT Radio Eurasia. Then Naki Baslan, who will have to learn very quickly how to cope with this new game, alongside his teammate Dominic Ang, Mika Kimi and Joaquim Garrido, completing the sixth row of the group. are 20 starters, keep going down. We have Arif Asmi and from Apex and Aaron Lim, and indeed we are off. Race number 1 is underway, and there's a really good start from the second row back there.
Ooh, looks like Ali actually made his way from P6 all the way to P4.
He has, he's got to P4.
What an absolutely brilliant start from Ali. Looks like he didn't have the jitters that time around. Now then, we'll have to wait and see whether or not he can actually defend that. Look at that. Josh Thomas around the outside with Ali on the inside. Ali defends. Oh, he spins. He's being contacted around by Josh Thomas. And he's nearly sent to the back of the field. Look at that. More and more car spin coming through the seat of the Lago. But Ali now back to where it's almost square one. He's down to 8.
Miko Nasi was also called backwards as well. Ibrahim, though, has got off to a flying start. He is leading, but behind them, all kinds of problems. Perwin has missed all the problems as well. Perwin's got them all as well. Luke Bannister in P3, Kaelin Chin in P4.
Yep, and we're going to have replays soon, I think, of that. But meanwhile, we're looking at Ibrahim. Look at that. There's another car in the infield as we go through the replay.
This is the carnage that we had on the very first stages. And it's Inigo Anton crashing into, is it Nakib? No, Nakib's got away with that, but Inigo Anton and Miko Nasi were involved there. But what it means is that Ibrahim has got himself a huge lead early on. Over a second lead, and only Josh Perwin has really been able to go at the same pace as the race leader, Mohammed Ibrahim.
And the Bannister also tagged along with Perwin. Perwin looking very good for a start to the season, as well as Bannister. So Black Hearts Racing, who finished quite low behind the other teams in the team championship at the end of last season, are looking good to start off here on the front foot for season 2. And with Bannister and Perwin working together here, this is going to be a great start for both drivers and the team.
Luke Bannister in P3, that's Josh Perwin ahead of him in P2, but they're 1.6 seconds down on Mohammed Ibrahim. These are teammates, but we mentioned that the Australian connection would really come into play here, and it has done exactly that in the early stages.
And we're going to get a replay of what happened to the other drivers, including the likes of Nakib. But yes, that Australian connection, the fact that they're both iRacing drivers, they really help out for their cars here as we look at the replay.
Okay, they've got Naki Baslan here. He's having problems as well. He's down near the bottom now. The season 0 champion is just caught on the back end. Naki Baslan, wow, he is not used to being down amongst the also-rans, is he? And certainly not as far behind the race leader, who leads by 2 seconds, Mohammed Ibrahim. That qualification was terrific, and it's got him a great start.
Yep, it pays dividends. 6/10 up for the rest of the team, back close to 7. And now he's about 2 seconds ahead of John. He might just need to decrease the tempo slightly, not to push himself too hard and make a mistake. Back to the Naki incident, he got hit by Mika Hakimi there. So now a good start for both drivers who had strong ends to the season in Season 1. So they're going to be on the back foot here for Race 2. But crucially for that, they're going to start further up in front, where that may be for the reverse grid.
Okay, let's just have a quick check-in on Nakib, just to see if there's any damage there as he goes past Mika Hakimi, or Mika lets him go past. Nakib doesn't look to be suffering too much damage, but he's in P16 or P16 at the moment for car 17. And this is a big learning curve for the boy, isn't it, Amo?
Absolutely, completely different game. And Nakib himself confessed that he's not much into iRacing, at least for now. But Race Room is his main game. And
whoa,
so
hey, Ibrahim! Ibrahim has dropped out. Oh, sorry, that's just a game.
That's time,
it's a game.
Anyway, yeah, so Nakib might be on the back for the first race of the season. As I said in qualifying, pre-season jitters. And in fact, this is the opening race of the season. We can forgive for some of the drivers who are actually looking a bit out of their depth right now. By the time we go to round 2, maybe they could be used to it. Who knows?
Apologies for that. There was a game glitch there, or a sim glitch that said Mohammed Ibrahim had dropped down to P6. He hadn't. As you can see, he's happily there in P1. A long way clear. Perwin and Bannister are the two who are racing now then. Teammates. It gets very competitive when you're going for points though, Amo.
Absolutely, and inter-team battles are always a thing. In fact, there's that one rule in racing. The first guy you want to beat is your teammate, and for Josh right now, he's beating Bannister, and look at that, Bannister doesn't look pleased by it. He's to be in 3rd place. Yes, a lot of drivers would love to be in 3rd, but being 3rd behind your teammate, that's just something you don't want at the first race of the season.
We are on to lap 5 already. Ibrahim already in a class of his own. Perwin and Bannister 2 and 3. Behind them, let's have a little look to see how Kaelin Chin is getting on. There is Kaelin Chin. Now, we said that Kaelin was in great form. He won 2 of the last 5 races last season, and at the moment he's in P4 here. He was out of the points in qualification, but it looks like, despite the pressure he's under from Josh Thomas, looks like he's got himself up into P4 ammo.
Absolutely, and he did start just outside the top 5 in 6, so he did score points for the first qualifying session of the season. But again, I did mention just now, he is one of those iRacing specialists, and he loves this game. He drives a lot in the GTs and in Formula 3s. Now he's got a more powerful beast to drive. He's actually not looking half bad either as he tries to defend from the safe house driver of Josh Thomas. This is going to be a great fight between the two Aussies. One based in Singapore, the other one based in Australia. They might not be in the same location, but they're really close on track right now.
Ibrahim leads, Perwin and Bannister P2 and 3. This is the battle for P4. Kaelin Chin ahead of Josh Thomas. Dominic Ang is the best of the Stratos Motorsports racers. He's in P6, and to be fair for Dominic, after not the best of qualifications, that's a very, very solid time as he comes through onto his 6th lap.
Indeed, from 10th to 6th. And it might have benefited from that kerfuffle that Josh Thomas caused to Arif Hamilton to make his way up to 6th. As we look further behind, that's Inigo and Inigo and Arif fighting for P7 and P8. Looks like Arif has not really covered much after dropping to P8. Now he's on the back of Inigo. Oh, he goes on the inside, coming to the Interlagos, and he makes that move stick. That's a good move there. Inigo defended initially, but he just left the door slightly more open, and Arif needed no second invitations. He says, thank you very much. Now he can make his way back up, albeit he's where he started, P7.
He is in P7, but that was a neat bit of overtaking. It doesn't take him long to learn the secrets of iRacing. So Inigo Anton currently in P8, and he's got the problem of looking back on Arif Hamilton. But the differential between Arif and the top 5 is quite a big one. He's 6 seconds down on Dominic Ang. Further down, Miko Nasi was looking pretty good. He was fast in qualification, but he's been involved in a couple of incidents. And Miko, well, struggling a little bit in P9 at the moment, Amo.
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that where did he qualify 5th? So that's a big, sharp drop. And probably because that incident in Interlagos at the opening lap of the race was probably the cause of why he's actually at the bottom of the top 10. Looking at the camera there, I think he's looking at where the other drivers are in relation to him. But not a good start to the season as well for a guy who is also predominantly iRacing specialist.
How about my favourite, Tunku Jon? Here he is in P11 at the moment. If he can get into top 10 positions, I think he'll probably be fairly happy. But at the moment, his fastest lap time, a 1:11.04, which was his last lap. So he's about 1.5 seconds down on Mohammed Ibrahim, who's a long way clear up at the front, but lapping pretty consistently, John Lay.
Yeah, absolutely. And in another race that we've already covered, he was actually doing quite well in that class, but albeit it was an older, more classic class of car. He's doing quite well here in high-powered single-seaters. Up in just outside the top 10, he's trying to chase Zini for that, but he's going to be under huge pressure from Garrido. So the battle for 10th here is still pretty much on for, well, it's not points, but for the bragging rights of at least to be in the top 10 the first race of the season.
It's Joaquim Garrido who is just behind him. Naki Baslan has got himself up into P13 now. I think we just need to go and have a little look at the race leader, Mohammed Ibrahim. Ibrahim is 3.4 seconds clear, and he's already actually lapping one of the EGG cars. I'm not sure whether that's Harry Lynn or it's Whelan, is it?
Yes, that's Whelan. So Whelan, you can see +1 on his lap. In fact, we've already had 2 retirements, I think, because we don't see Kefli Hoffman or Alistair Young in that graphic. So first of the proper guys to be lapped for this season is Whelan. So there's Whelan. Looking at, he's sawing his way through the wheel. It looks like he really puts a lot of effort on the wheel, and look at that, a big lockup there. Luckily for him, there's no flat spots in iRacing, so he could get away with that.
A best lap time of 1:14.41, which is relatively competitive, unless you're racing against Mohammed Ibrahim. We are approaching the final 5 minutes as another racer goes past. I think it's Josh Perwin who's just gone past Whelan Choi. Let's just to see how Josh Perwin is doing, because it seems like Josh has been able to drop Luke Bannister. Bannister was very, very close to him at one stage. Not the situation now.
Yeah, looks like Josh has managed to curb off the advances of his teammate Bannister, and Bannister now more than a second behind. So whatever happened between the two of them, maybe not a collision, but maybe a mistake from Bannister that has allowed Josh to get away. So Perwin then, he's on his way to a pretty comfortable second and a very good start to the season. He hasn't had too many of those in the first 2 seasons of E1.
There is Bannister closing up just a little bit. The differential is it's about a second and a half. So not bad for Bannister. I tell you what, he looks very, very calm and collected in the bottom right of the screen, racing out of Australia. Further down, let's have a look to see if Mohammed Alif Hamilton's been able to make up any ground on Dominic Ang. The answer is no. In fact, he's under pressure still from Inigo Anton from the Philippines.
And now Anton has actually made his way up to 8th place here. Something happened between the top 10 there. In fact, we look at Zini in top 10. Something happened to Tunku Jon Lei, so Lei might have actually spun it somewhere. In fact, on our timing screens, it looked like he actually crashed with Garrido. So we thought that was going to be a good finish to the first race of the season for Tunku Jon, but unfortunately that has gone up in smoke.
4.5 minutes still to race. Ibrahim still leads by a country mile ahead of Perwin and Bannister and Kaelin Chin. Just quickly, let's have a mention of those we've not talked about so far. Ivan Vantagiato struggling a little bit down in P17. He'd love to get in the points. Aaron Lim is the man just in front of him in the yellow. He's one of the EGG drivers. Real life driver, of course. This will be his first little opportunity. Vantagiato currently P17, Aaron Lim in P16. How's the real race driver doing?
Doing decently well for a fact that the guy is not used to iRacing at all, but I think with a couple races in, he might just be into the swing of it straight away. Battling with Vantagiato, and Vantagiato, remember, he raced in season 0 of E1, and he was a bit all over the place, to be honest, let's be fair to him, in race room. But in iRacing, he seems to be quite well, and he's doing well for himself there, albeit in 17th. As long as that they all finish, they can build up that confidence for the rest of the season.
Naki Baslan has got himself up to P11, and he is challenging on the shoulder of Mohamed Zini. So it might not be a lost cause for Naki Baslan, the season 0 winner. It'll be a low number of points, but any point you can get on the board can be useful as he looks on the inside. There's Naki, but Zini who is defending. Let's have a look back from Zini and see how close that is. Real pressure on Zini.
Very close. And in fact, Zini probably didn't have the most track time on the older drivers because he actually, during the practice service that we had, didn't really compete that much laps. So for him to be top 10, starting in 20th, is an absolute achievement. But now he's going to get that 10th place taken away by Naki. He goes onto the inside, coming out to the center S's. Easy move, very typical move here in Interlagos.
So Naki Baslan moves into the top 10. That's a good recovery from him. Let's go back to our race leader and just see how far clear he is. Nearly 4 seconds is the answer, using the full width, and he's been pretty perfect. His last lap time, a 109.81, but his best lap, he's the only person inside 109 at all, so he's going to pick up bonus points for fastest lap as well.
And he's coming across the line here to probably finish the race. Yeah, I think, no, not yet. Maybe just one more lap around Interlagos and we're done. In fact, the timer at the top of the screen just now was actually counting when we were running through the grid. So presumably, this is actually the actual final of the race. And Ibrahim there, the class of the field. No superlatives can describe how impressive he has been so far. 3.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. He's shown that this guy is the one to beat for this season.
In second place, Perwin is still holding off Bannister by quite a margin, actually. This is a really good race by Josh Perwin. As he said, he wasn't expecting to be too close to Mohamed Ibrahim, but if the best you can do is pick up a P2 in the first race of the season, ahead of your teammate Bannister, then that's pretty good. We're on board here with Bannister. Well, Perwin is quite a way away as well. Inside 120 to go. It might be one lap after this, Ammo.
Yeah, I think so. But looking at where Ibrahim is on track right now, in fact, he's come out of Jun Sao and all the way to the final sector of the lap. I think this might just be the actual final lap of the race. So we'll wait and see once he crosses the line. If he cuts across to the inside of the track, he knows that's the final lap. I think it is. The checkered flag might be out for him. And there it is.
Checkered flag comes out for Mohamed Ibrahim.
Oh, white flag. That's white flag. Sorry, that's white flag. Final lap of the race, yeah. So
yes.
we're following the IndyCar and NASCAR way of doing it. So
thank you. My apologies for you. I listened to you, Ammo, last time I do that. Mohammed Ibrahim. This, though, is almost a lap of honour. It's a 2.7 second lead for Mohammed Ibrahim. He has been impeccable. Alif, let's see if he's able to improve. He's a little bit behind Dominic Ang. I keep going to Alif Hamilton because he's the defending champion of the E1 Championship, but he's going to pick up useful points, maybe 9 points for a P7 here, but it's going to be Ibrahim who takes it. Perwin and Bannister still in that battle for second. Perwin leading that battle, and the battle for P4. Kaelin Chin under real pressure from Josh Thomas. Thomas having a real go at Kaelin Chin.
And Kaelin there not seem to be quite phased, but he knows that that guy's there, and he's trying to defend. They've come out to big of the battle. Oh, they've hit each other! They've actually hit each other, and Kaelin actually gets tucked around, but luckily it was just a half spin, and he manages to get going again. He did not end up like Alex Albon, where he faced it completely the wrong way after getting hit by Lewis Hamilton, as he's on his way to 4th place. Across the line there, Ibrahim actually wins race 1.
Mohammed Ibrahim has taken race number 1 by a country mile. Josh Perwin will come in 2. Luke Bannister 3. Kaelin Chin holds on despite that knock that he received. Kaelin Chin will try to come over the line in P4 ahead of Josh Thomas, but your winner by a long, long margin, well, only 2 seconds in the end, but he was slowing down going over the line, is Mohammed Ibrahim ahead of Perwin, ahead of Bannister, Chin and Thomas. Okay, Alex Young, we have got a competitive season.
Yeah, wow, some really good driving there. Ibrahim doing what we thought he would do, which was convert from pole position. Very cool and calm, you know, that was very impressive. He got the start he wanted. Then the 2 Black Arts cars right behind him. I thought they were going to stay there a bit longer, but they started dropping back. Josh did a good job, though. But Mohammed Alif, though, how unlucky was he? Great start up to P4, and then was it turn 3 or turn 4? He got tapped into a spin by, I'm going to say I think it was Inigo Anton that tapped him into a spin. So shame about that. But let's talk to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so we're just complimenting you on a pretty, what looked like a routine win. Were there any issues?
Yeah, no, there was no issue. Just the lap cars were pretty scary, so.
Okay, well.
Yes, that's about it, yeah.
Well, I'm just going to have to tell you that we've balloted the reverse grid, and it's the top 14 reversed. So you're going to start P14 for the next race. How were the conditions for the track? Was the tire wear good? No issues with that?
Yeah, the tire wear, there was quite a bit of tire wear, but we have to manage that.
Okay, well, you got fastest lap, so pole position, and you won race 1. Now you got a big race 2 coming up. How bad was the contact? Because saw a few cars, the small bits of contact, getting put into a spin. What's your strategy through the first few corners?
Yeah, of course, my main strategy is to finish the race without having any kind of incident with anybody. So I can, like, you know, do not lose any time out of spinning or something like that. So hopefully I can keep it clean.
Okay, well, good luck. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you there. Congratulations, of course. And what a statement that's been made. How does this look now for the final result? Des Corkill.
Indeed, so a victory for Mohammed Ibrahim. He was fastest in qualification and he's picked up maximum points in the race as well. Josh Perwin, second fastest in qualification, coming through in P2 alongside his teammate Luke Bannister. The Aussies have made a difference. Kaelin Chin edging out Josh Thomas despite their coming together on the final lap for P4. Dominic Ang, good result there for the Stratos Motorsports driver ahead of the defending champion Alif Hamilton. Inigo Anton in 8th. Mikko Nassi recovers to 9. Naki Baslan recovers to a top 10 position for the season 0 champion. Zini and Garrido, Arif Asmi, Aaron Lim and Mika Hakimi picking up points. Tunku Jon just out of the points in P16, as was Vantagiato and Whelan Choi.
Thank you for that, Des. Alex, this is where it's going to get really interesting. The reverse grid, you just talked about it with Mohammed Ibrahim. So everything changes yet again. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, we've seen if you have a little bit of contact, you can lose the complete race. So drivers are going to be very careful to the first couple corners. And people going for the championship like Ibrahim and Josh Perwin, I think they're going to be even more careful than usual. Obviously getting a good start, minimizing the wheel spin, not slipping the clutch too much, make a good clean start, maybe take a couple of people off the line would be nice. But be very careful to the first few corners. It's going to be about battle for survival because you've got to think about the championship as well.
Yeah, but skill-wise as well, Alex. I mean, it's going to be completely different for most of the drivers. For Mohammed Ibrahim, he was so far ahead, there wasn't much defensive driving needed for him because the gap was so large apart from the start. Now, he's in P14.
Yeah, well, it's different, you know. It's one thing to run at the front, obviously, but now when you do a reverse grid race, you have to think about racecraft, and that's why we do these reverse grid races, because we see the more complete drivers winning. You know, Alif last year in season 1, there were some races he wasn't the quickest driver out there, but he was always put himself in the right position. So even in the reverse grid races, he'd still be there. So that's a very important part of motorsports, you know, the racecraft. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, we've seen Ibrahim dominate in race 1, but can he make his way cleanly through race 2? Yes, you sometimes have to have a bit of luck as well, because someone can spin into you. There's nothing you can do about it. So as a driver, it's like playing poker. You need to manage your risks. You need to play the cards. And sometimes you go in a corner and go, well, I could go for it, but maybe I better not. So, you know, because this is a high risk, it's a low risk, and know when to plan your moves.
Yeah, and unlike poker, you literally only have a split second to decide. Oh, we can't wait. We're going to let the drivers refocus to gather their energy ahead of the reverse grid race. First, we're going to go for a commercial break there. We'll continue our analysis of what we saw in the sprint race, what we've learnt, what impact it could have moving forward. See you in just a moment. Welcome back to E1 Championship Season 2, Round 1 at Interlagos, Brazil. We've had the qualifying, we've had sprint race, and we've had plenty to talk about. Alex, I think the first thing I'm going to look at is a crash quite early on. Naki Baslan, former champion.
Yeah, Naki Baslan, Season 0 champion, looking good. He had a pretty decent first lap, and then he had this small incident. Had contact with another car, and it put him right down to the back of the field. Yeah.
Who's at fault here?
So here we are watching down this first corner, and oh yeah, so the it looks like, who's that? What is that? Mika just outbraked himself. Yeah, because Nakib gave him enough space at the apex and just spun him around. Oh, that was terrible. But luckily there's no damage to the car, and he was able to continue. He in the end recovered to, I think, P12, so not too bad for him, or P11 or something. So he's got the reverse grid race to come up. We should try and chalk to him, actually.
You know what? I think we should. Let's bring in Naki Baslan. I believe he's standing by. Just have a quick few words. We've just seen the incident early on. What was your take on it, Naki?
Yeah, it was a bad start for me, unfortunately, but you know, try to keep clean out of the carnage and did well actually out of lap 1. Then coming into turn 1, I saw a car coming in down the inside. I knew he was going to outbrake himself. I gave as much room as he needed, but I think he locked up even worse. So yeah, got tapped around, and unfortunately, you know, it was damage limitation from then on. And thankfully, we got to work our way up back into the top 10. But overall, I think, yeah, disappointing. But it was only the first race.
Exactly, it's only the first race, isn't it? But you know, we've got the reverse grid race coming up. Different kettle of fish. Track should be a bit more grippier. But what can you get from it, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. With the reverse grid, hopefully I'm going to be starting further up in front. So I'm going to take my chances and hopefully come out higher than what I finished in the race 1.
Okay. What are the cars like to drive, by the way, these IR01s? Are they fun to drive? They look fantastic on track.
Yeah, they're super fun actually. You know, tons of horsepower, tons of downforce. It's actually quite a beast on the traction zone, so really feathering the throttle on exits. But yeah, really lots of fun.
Okay. Adam, you got anything for Nakib?
No, not right now. Actually, you know, I just want to know how are you feeling for the rest of the day and the championship as well? Because after a poor start, I mean, it can wear you down a little bit, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But I think we're not focusing on, you know, the overall championship as of now. I think we'll take it one race at a time, as always. Focus on what's coming up next, and yeah, just trying to make the best of every situation we have.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much,
for putting doubt into his mind.
Yeah, I know. It's my role here. I have to bring it up. When you're former champion, all eyes will be on you. There's no doubting it. No way around it. Let's talk about some of the other races. Alex, Joshua Thomas.
Yes, let's talk to Joshua Thomas. We haven't talked to him yet. So we'll start to talk to Joshua. Joshua, I think he finished 4th, didn't he? No. 5th. 5th. Josh, nice to see you, mate. You want to talk us through your race 1?
What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
Want to talk us through your race 1?
Pretty difficult start. We chose the hard compound tyre. I think
pace-wise, it was okay. I got off the line pretty poorly, managed to keep it safe through 1, 2, and 3, and then coming into 4, I just misjudged how slow the car ahead of me was going to go at the mid corner. Ended up spinning him, so that was on me. But he ended up finishing, I think he ended up finishing 7th, so he wasn't too far behind me. So again, apologies for the spin that I caused, but like I said, I didn't end up destroying his race, which is probably a better thing. But yeah, it didn't go too bad. We're a lot faster than Kaelin. I just couldn't get past. They're difficult cars to pass around here, but a lot of fun, and on to race 2.
Hard tyre, wow, that would have, because everyone, I think all the fast cars are on the medium tyre, so maybe medium tyre is the right choice. What's your choice going to be for race 2?
I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to Miko and the rest of the team, because like I said, it looks like those mediums are the way to go, but then again, like I said, they drop off a lot, so we'll wait and see.
Okay.
What about relationships? It's your first time being partnered in E1 with Miko, like you just mentioned. How's it been so far?
It's been awesome. I got onto Miko through another sim racing team we're both involved in, and yeah, he's awesome. He's a really nice guy, and he's taken me in really well, and we've got on like a house on fire, so pretty close on times. And like I said, fingers crossed we can work together and get towards the front end in this reverse grid race.
Okay. It's a quick final question, because it is the reverse grid. It's going to be completely different. Anything different strategy-wise that you could share? I know you're not going to give all your secrets out with us here.
I don't think, dude, we can't afford to have the secrets. We got a second to catch up to Ibrahim, so I guess it's just go as fast as possible, pass as many cars as possible, and fingers crossed we're standing on the top step at the end of it.
Okay, good luck, Joshua. We'll speak to you again, maybe at the end again, all right?
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Alex, I like hearing that. I like his answer at the end. He wants to go fast, he wants to pass cars, he wants to drive, he wants to race.
Yeah, I mean, he's a well-renowned driver. You know, he's done really well, many champions around the world. He would not be happy about that. You know, he won the Logitech G Challenge, I think. Yeah, he did. So, you know, he's one of these. He will not be happy about that. He'll be going for the win if he can.
Okay, let's bring in one more driver. Kaelin Chin, we've talked quite a bit about you before the race, and you finished in 4th. You must be happy with the result, but of course you could do better.
Yeah, I mean, 4th from where we were in quali is actually a good result. I had these thoughts of wanting to try and see if I could work with Joshua to try and catch with Luke and Josh Perwin, but they were just way too quick for us, and then ended up just fighting with Joshua there for P4, and it worked out well. So I am happy with it. Good points.
Yeah, P4's pretty good. He tapped you in the spin in the last lap, but I think he just waited for you, didn't he? So he wouldn't get the penalty. So turned out okay.
Yeah, about that last lap, I don't really know too much about what happened there. I mean, from my point of view, it looked like it was a netcode, but if he waited for me to go in front, that's fair sportsmanship to him, and fair play to him, you know, and
From what we were watching, it didn't look like netcode. I think he just tapped you to a spin, but it is what it is. We've got a longer race coming up now. It's the first time we've done the 30-minute race in these cars. What are you expecting? Do you think you can be aggressive off the line?
I wouldn't say being aggressive, more like just surviving. I mean, judging by what happened in race 1, I saw all the chaos in my mirror. I think just getting it through turn 1 and through lap 1 especially is just essential in actually making it to the end of the race. So yeah, I'm not gonna be aggressive, just gonna stay away from everyone else, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Again, thank you very much for speaking to us. Good luck for the final race of the evening, okay?
Thank you.
That's fascinating, Alex. We spoke to Joshua before that. He wants to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Kaelin doesn't want to be aggressive. You were talking early on, I think before the commercial break, about just finishing the race, avoiding incidences, just conserving the car.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this. It's so many different approaches.
Sometimes it's where your context, where you're sitting from. You know, Josh is more experienced with these cars. He knows how much he can push. Someone like Kaelin and we're saying for Leaf and Naki, who've been racing in E1 before, they're used to race room cars with that Formula 1 car where you can be aggressive, you can lean on each other and make it through and carry on. You can't with these cars. As soon as you have a little touch, you're spinning or you're flying through the air. So that's why Kaelin's like, well, I'm not used to this because I'm used to rubbing, but you can't rub with these cars. So he's probably going, no, I have to dial it back a bit. Josh has maybe on the other hand, he's used to the cars. He knows he can be a bit more aggressive and not get into any trouble.
Yeah, the learning curve seems so steep for those who aren't experienced with iRacing. But if you aren't able to watch the full 15-minute sprint race, Alex, talk us through the highlights of what we witnessed.
Okay, so had an interesting start. A few cars in the background going off, but Ibrahim with a good start. And then Alif up to 4th, and here he is. He got tapped by, there you go, Josh Thomas tapped into the spin. He might get a post-race penalty for that, I think, looking at that. Definitely his fault. Then Inigo Anton trying to make his way back up to the field as well, but wasn't able to do it. There's Naki making his way back to the field after his spin. He finished, I think, 10th in the end. And but nothing was going to touch it. This is that last lap incident where Josh Thomas again tapped another car. This time it was Kaelin Chin. But nothing happened there. They finished 4th and 5th. But no one could stop this driver, Mohamed Ibrahim, from poles to flags to lights victory.
Perfect. Des, the top
and
10
confirmation
results.
then of the results. Mohamed Ibrahim picking up the maximum points. Josh Perwin will pick up 20 points for P2. Ibrahim will get 2 points also for the fastest lap. Bannister, Chin and Josh Thomas give us a very Antipodean look at the top of that leaderboard. Dominic Ang in Stratos Motorsports, the best of the Southeast Asians. Ali for good P7 for Team Flash. Inigo Anton from the Philippines GT Radial Eurasia team picks up 8 points for P8. Miko Nasi and Naki Baslan completing the top 10. Points scored down to P15.
All right, thank you very much for that, Des. And again, before we throw to another commercial break, before we have the reverse grid race, I mean, we had to talk about the winner so far, Mohamed Ibrahim. Alex, because he's got the fastest lap. He's first in qualifying. He's first in the sprint race. I mean, he means business for this.
He does. We've known he's a bit special for a while now. But he's still relatively inexperienced with some of the drivers out there. He's only 17 years old, let's not forget that as well. So the racecraft now, whether he can find the right balance of aggression, but being careful so he doesn't have that contact, that's going to be very key for him. And I think he'll be comfortable because he knows he has a pace, so he doesn't need to take risks. Someone like maybe Alif and Nakib, the Joshuas, they might have to be a bit more aggressive because they want to try and make sure they get out in front of Ibrahim. But as Ibrahim's going to go, I know I got the pace. I got half an hour to do this. I'm going to take it really easy, try and pick my way through, and make sure I'm safe through those first couple laps.
Well, he'll be in P14, Alex. Aaron Lim is going to be in P1 for the reverse grid. That's going to be interesting. What do you think we can expect from him? Because comparatively speaking, he's quite new to sim racing.
Aaron's a very experienced racer. Great go-karter, raced in Europe, really good driver. But new to this series, new to sim racing, but completely new to the series. So Aaron won't have the pace to stay out in front for sure. But he's an experienced driver. He's an excellent driver coach. So he'll be going, I'm just going to get the laps, make sure I get through the first corners nice and easy. I'm not going to put up a fight because he knows he needs to get the laps under his belt, which will help him in the future.
Quick mention, though, for Mohamed Ibrahim's teammate, Mohamed Alif, the reigning champion. We spoke to him after the qualifying. How do you think he's going to be feeling?
I think he's going to go well, actually. You saw what a great start he did in race 1. And if he hadn't got put it into that spin by Thomas, I think he would have finished 4th, maybe even 3rd. So he'll be a factor for the race win, if you ask me. I think we'll see another one of his lightning starts, and he'll be up there.
Fascinating. Okay, we have to go for a quick break. Then we'll return, though. We'll be having a look at the reverse grid race, a full 30-minute encounter. This should be an absolute beauty. Stay tuned.
Congratulations to our Race 1 winner! The last race of the day will be coming up next. Can Race 1 winner defend their position in Race 2? Racing isn't just about speed and skills. Racecraft and race strategies are equally as crucial. So stay on the edge of your seats as the 30 minutes reverse grid will be starting very shortly. Let's head over to the commentary desk.
Yeah, Amanda set it up nicely. E1 Championship Season 2. It is the Premier Sim Racing Championship. It doesn't get any better than this. And it's brought to you by Evo Club Car Insurance. Save up to 40% on your insurance. EvoClubInsurance.com. Pleased to have the sponsors on board. Also pleased to get onto the circuit for race number 2. And I believe that we've got the starting grid there, and the starting grid tells us that on the front row of the grid will be Tunku Jon and Arif Asmi, Joaquim Garrido and Mohamed Zini alongside them, Miko Nasi and Naki Baslan on the third row of the grid, Anton and Alif on the fourth row of the grid, Ang and Josh Thomas on the fifth row of the grid, Kaelin Chin and Luke Bannister. Kaelin Chin saying he wants to have a little bit of social distancing on the track, which isn't really the score. Amo Hazik alongside me as we are underway. And Arif Asmi, there's a crash already early on. Oh, there is all kinds of carnage going on up at the top. Arif Asmi, well, a real problem there, but Arif Asmi looks like he's got away okay. Joaquim Garrido's okay. Nasi is there, but who was it? Tunku Jon it was, who was taken out big time. Wow, what an impossibly bad start for him. But Arif Asmi and Miko Nasi have been able to take the advantage. Amo Hazik.
Oh, wow. And I think it looks like because Jon lost control. In fact, it does not Jon was keeping up and lost control. In fact, we look back at the start here. I think Jon just got off to a terrible start, wheel spin, and then spins into the path of one of these Stratos cars, which sends the rest of the field into mayhem. This is worse than Spa 1998. And the worst part is it's not even wet. That is how big that accident was.
That is incredible footage. Dominic Ang it was who was left spinning out, and Arif Asmi, Mohamed Ibrahim avoided all of that. Would you believe it? Mohamed Ibrahim, who started in P14, has got himself up to P2 at the moment and is about to take the lead. We have inside the first lap Mohamed Ibrahim going from P14 into P1, though Arif is not making life easy for him, Amo.
Whoa, look, you're right, you said that right, Des. And look at that. He just actually muscled his way past back into the lead of the race ahead of Ibrahim, but Ibrahim will not take that line down. He'll try to get back at him. In fact, they're coming out to the Interlagos now. The scene of so many overtakes here in just that first race. And he didn't make it that time around. Arif dispensed very well. Bannister then watching briefly, just in case something happens between the first two.
There is 1, 2 and 3. Arif Asmi holding on for grim life against Mohamed Ibrahim. What a start from Ibrahim. Bannister's got up there as well, to be fair. Luke Bannister in P3. Bannister got himself a P3 in race 1, a P3 in qualification. That's some debut from the Yezi. Joaquim Garrido and Aaron Lim are 4 and 5. But Arif Asmi is performing heroically at the moment, holding off all the chasers behind him. Ibrahim just cannot get round him, Amo.
He can't, and it's been attributed to good defending for Irish part. But Ibra has the speed and he has the slipstream now. There's only little time left for Irish to be in the lead as they go side by side across the line. We start lap 3 now, and look at that. The speed that Ibrahim carries around the outside is just not enough to get the lead. Oh, they touch each other. Ibrahim spins into the center S's, and Arif holds the lead. That might require a steward's inquiry.
Bottom right of your screen, you can see Mohamed Ibrahim frantically trying to control. Now Luke Bannister goes alongside Arif Asmi. We have a new race leader. It is Luke Bannister, but Arif is able to hold on as we have a look back at seeing how Mohamed Ibrahim was spun off by Arif Asmi. Tell you what, the teenage Malaysian is making life ultra difficult for the top boys, but it's Bannister who has got into the front, into the lead.
And we missed that actually, once we look at the replay of what happened between Arif Asmi and Ibrahim. So Bannister out of our sights, he might have actually gotten him through the seat of the Lago, has taken the lead for the race. In fact, yep, it is. It was turn 3. It was turn 3. It was the seat of the Lago, and that's the typical maneuver that we've seen all day here. So Bannister then looks like he's going to be serenely out in front, unless Arif can actually catch up to him in this preceding few minutes.
What a spectacular start we have had to this 30-minute race. We're just over 1/10 of the way through, but Luke Bannister from Australia is looking to improve on his P3 from race number 1 to maybe pick up a win. It's a long way to go. Still 26 plus minutes to go, but Bannister leads by 1.3 seconds from Asmi, and Kaelin Chin social distancing has worked as somebody goes off. I think that was Garrido who was just pushed off a little bit to the side. Kaelin Chin holding on to P3, and that's a solid start by the young Aussie.
Indeed, and in fact, speaking of starts, we actually had a message from one of the competitors in the field. He actually told us that the clutches can overheat if it's slipped too much. So that's why some of the cars, they either stalled and they couldn't get off the line well, or they could actually have a lot of wheel spin and the cars could collide to each other. So I think that's the reason why John had his clutch slipped. He just had a lot of wheel spin and he smacked himself into the oncoming traffic. So very unfortunate start to the second race for a lot of the drivers.
This is the battle for P3. Kaelin Chin and Miko Nasi in very close attention. Mika Hakimi is in there as well. Good to see Mika getting his form back. A reminder, Ammo, and we've not really focused on this, but they've got a limited amount of fuel that they can utilize. So there will be a pit stop change that they must undertake. It's how you utilize your fuel. Do you take it early? Do you take it late? Do you take it in race one?
Well, you can try to actually conserve the fuel. In fact, you can see some drivers probably lifting close so we can actually have a throttle trace on that. But that's besides the point. We look at the action between Kaelin Chin and Nasi. Can you imagine for Kaelin, 2 races in a row he has to do with a safe house car, and that time around at least he came out on top.
So there is Miko Nasi in full. Look at the battle behind them. Josh Perwin and Mohammed Ibrahim, 1 and 2 in race 1. And there is Ibrahim trying to take a little bit of ground back on Josh Perwin. The young Aussie and the young Indian really working now. Mohammed Ibrahim chuntering away into his microphone there. He is not a happy chappy, is he? Because he wanted to take the lead. And now he's battling for P6 here with Josh.
Yeah, indeed. And in fact, that battle for the lead, he could have actually gone off in front. Had it not been for Asmi, just probably would have given a bit of more space coming up to the center S's. But that's very typical. Incidents like that can happen, especially the fact that there's a wide entrance on the outside. So he thought that he could make it. Arif thought he could actually close out the gap, and the contact was almost inevitable. Now then, Ibrahim just has to recover here, but still looks like a possibility he could get on the podium here.
We've got a back marker just ahead, I think. I think it's Whelan Choi. Mohamed Zini's having a bit of a problem. So is Vantagiato. In fact, Vantagiato it is who moved just out of the way. Perwin looks on. Now then, Kaelin Chin's moved himself into P2, and Arif Asmi is under pressure from Miko Nasi as well. Let's have a look on board with Miko Nasi to see how close he is to Arif Asmi. So Arif was in P1. Great effort in this opening 6 minutes or so. But Kaelin Chin is in 3. Bannister is the man who is leading. But we are on board here with Miko Nasi. And Nasi tries his best to get the best of Arif Asmi. And Arif this time just eases out the way.
Yeah, and I think he doesn't want to fight too much because he knows that it's going to be good points for this Apex team, who were previously known as I1, and they never had a good finish in the championship at all. In fact, the best I think is 8th from I forgot the Aussie's name who races out of Brunei, but he actually finished 8th in that previous season. In fact,
Ben Seek, the Kiwi.
Yes, it's just Kiwi. Sorry,
Don't
Kiwi.
call him an Aussie.
So Seek's best finish of 8 also happens to be the best finish for that team. Now under new colours, this might be the best finish they have so far, unless Asmi can hold on for the advances of the rest of the field, who are really coming on strong.
Meantime, Mohammed Ibrahim has got himself past Josh Perwin. He is once again into P5. Ibrahim, and it's Arif Asmi he's closing in on there. The Indian has been very, very quick. He's posted a fastest lap of 108.97. Nobody else has been inside 109. He is terrifically quick. Is that just the fact that he's such an expert at iRacing, or has he got a light fuel load on here?
I think they're going to go full fuel load. In fact, go back to the question on the strategy you asked, Des. They're going to go full fuel load. They might just have to lift and close a bit to make it away, at least onto the halfway stage. As big accident there. In fact, Ibrahim gets hit by Ibrahim, and Ibrahim gets hit by Perwin, and they were lucky to actually get out of there alive, because in that particular instance, turn 6 and 7, both cars that collide easily can end up in the barriers.
Gosh.
So Ibrahim gets away with it again.
A lot of contact there. I'm enjoying this contact. I'm enjoying this racing. We're still on board with Mohammed Ibrahim. So Miko Nasi ahead of him. Apologies for that. Let's just pull back here to focus on this battle for P4. Arif Asmi still defending manfully, but this time surely Ibrahim will be able to pull out the slipstream, and will, as they go over the start-finish line onto lap number 8, Mohammed Ibrahim gets himself up into P4. This is a lucrative day for Mohammed Ibrahim. Arif Asmi again though is giving nothing up as a freebie.
Well, but that particular time he did. Take 2, and that time around, Ibrahim manages to get the move done on the outside. So Arif Asmi then tries his best to defend on the inside multiple times he could, but It's just that the speed of the cars around him are way faster. And also note, he's on soft tires. So I
Yes.
think the tires have actually gone off the cliff. Now he's just struggling for grip.
Yeah, I was going to say only he and Aaron Lim have decided to go on soft compound tyres. Everybody else is on medium apart from Joaquim Garrido, who is on hard. If you're on soft compound, as Arif Asmi is, you've got to be looking at pitting perhaps now, perhaps in the next lap or two.
Also, he has to consider the fact that does he have enough fuel for that? If he fits too early and still has enough fuel, he'll be up to 80. He couldn't bring it all the way to the line. So that's another conundrum. He's going to have to suffer with these soft tires, at least until the halfway point of the race, where he can finally get it off of them and he can go on to the mediums or hards, whichever he chooses.
Okay, so Arif Asmi is under pressure from Mohammed Ibrahim once again. Ibrahim, so Arif, he's the first man into the pits. And it means that, is that Ibrahim into the pits? No.
Yeah, that is Ibrahim, yeah.
Ibrahim's gone into
and
the
Asmi.
pits.
So both drivers who were involved in that melee at turn 1 where they were trying to battle for the lead has gone through. In fact, Ibrahim's got a drive-through penalty. Oh, that's interesting. That didn't pop out on our timing screen.
Wow. Ibrahim has got a drive-through penalty. That must have been slightly over-aggressive. I tell you, somebody I've really been ignoring a little bit. And it's a long, long pit lane at Interlagos as well, isn't it? You don't want to have a drive-through penalty. So a perfect race 1. Not so perfect race 2 for Ibrahim.
Nope. And this has been a bit of a baptism of fire here in terms of how he's come back into the championship and trying to dominate as he tries to go around the outside of, that looks like actually, I think Zini. Yeah, Zini is actually ducked out of the way. Good piece of driving there. But Ibrahim now has a mountain of work to do. In fact, he's a pit stop behind essentially, 20 seconds from Bannister, and look as though podium's out of the question as well.
Let's have a look at Luke Bannister. We've rather ignored him. His lead, Ammo, is 6 seconds, 5.7 seconds. He's looking really cool as he overtakes one of the back markers.
Whelan.
It's either it's Whelan Choi, isn't it?
Yep.
Or is it Aaron Lim? Because it might actually be Aaron.
No, it's Whelan because number 77. So
Indeed.
Whelan then does his best to be a useful back marker to not interrupt the leaders' races. There we go. We get Whelan on board again. Looks like he's got a lot of FaceTime here today for his social media channels.
Very good, Whelan. I tell you what, he's taking it very seriously. There's no gurning, there's no joking around from Whelan, but there's no joking around from Luke Bannister either. This is a really, really good debut. The Aussies are in town and they are coming to say to the Southeast Asians, we want your money. We like that money that you're on offer.
Yes, indeed. And the fact of Bannister, that first race where he finished third, and now he's in the lead for this one, he's going to take the initial championship lead here. So we're going to have a rookie in the lead of the championship by round 2.
There is Whelan Choi. Let's just give him a little bit of a TLC. Also a little bit of TLC perhaps for Mohammed Zini. Zini's had a really, really tough time of it. We're expecting a lot from Zini. He's in a strong car, he's in a strong team, but he's not had much luck today. And the young Singaporean is struggling down in P19 and out of the points.
And he's only going to do 2 races. I think he's contracted to Apex for just 2 races. So he's only got 1 race left to actually make an impact in the championship. Or unless the team are impressed with him, they're going to bring him for the full length for the season. But whatever it is, this will be the 1 race down for him and up for another race for him to actually improve his results.
Bannister still leading. The gap is 4.6 seconds. Let's have a look at Mohammed Alif Hamilton. Alif.
Oh, we get a replay.
As we have a look at an overtaking here, this is Alistair Young involved in impressive fashion.
I'll tell you what, that's actually almost similar to what happened between Jos Verstappen and Juan Pablo Montoya, where Verstappen hit the back of Montoya and they both Montoya lost his rear wing, Verstappen lost his wheel and front wing in that process. Luckily though, the damage is not that severe that he could still get away with that one, but Alistair not having a good first round.
Well, there is Alistair trying, he's in a battle there with Tunku Jon. This is for the lower placings. This is for P14. Alistair currently in P15 and he's working pretty hard. Still waiting to see who's going to make the first drop into the pits because we are approaching the midpoint of the race. 13 minutes gone. Alistair Young in P15 on the tail end of Tunku Jon. There he is, Tunku Jon. These are different ends of their motor racing careers, and Tunku Jon says to Alistair, whoa, I'm going to brake here. If you're going to go past me, you've got to go round the outside.
Indeed. And the fact that around the outside through Bigo de Pato will not be the one that he wants to try, because remember, Alex Albon did that in 2019.
Ibrahim in the pits.
Yep, Ibrahim in the pits for his first pit stop this time. And away he goes. He's going to drop to P12, in fact P13 even, if Arif Asmi counts by.
So there is Mohammed Ibrahim, winner of race number 1. Had been perfect, but so many instances, a drive-through penalty for him as well. He will come back out in P12, just ahead of Arif Asmi, who's 1 second down on Mohammed Ibrahim. So far, not so good. Luke Bannister leads the way, still by quite some distance.
Yeah, almost. I thought he was going to enter the pits there for a second because normally they take a deep line coming out to the start-finish straight. So I thought Bannister was going to come in, but he's got a 4.5 second lead right now. He can just afford to coast all the way to his pit stop and probably get onto another fresh set of mediums to get all the way to the end.
Aaron Lim has been into the pits, in and out. Aaron Lim is down in P16 at the moment. We saw him have that little battle with Alistair Young earlier on, as well as Tunku Jon. So Aaron will be learning very, very quickly about iRacing, the new platform that we are using for the E1 Championship. He's in P15. Let's go back to P2. Miko Nasi. He has got himself a lead ahead of Kaelin Chin, but it's not a big lead, is it? There is Nasi, and there is the man right behind him. Nasi, car number 20. Kaelin Chin, he is right behind him, and Kaelin Chin is keeping his promise. Remember, he said in the pre-show, you're going to see the new fighting Kaelin. We all scoffed. We shouldn't have.
Yep, and the fact that he's having the best start to the season ever in E1. Remember, last season, he only could muster 2 8th places. Now it's going to be, I think, a 4th place and potentially a podium here at the start. So really good start to the season for Kaelin. As Miko comes into the pits, he's going to take the 2nd place away as we look what happened to Dominic Ang here.
Yeah, Dominic Ang, weaving in and out. That's one of the back markers, and there's a little bit of contact. And Dominic Ang, there's a little grimace from Dominic as the wheel spin gets him back in. But it's all impressive. Right, the new race leader out on the circuit on medium compound tyres is this young fella, Mika Hakimi, but he has not been in for his pit stop. Naki Baslan is in P2. Gosh, we've not mentioned Naki, have we? He's in P2, medium compounds, staying out as long as he possibly can. He couldn't be on a medium soft strategy, could he?
No, I'm definitely sure it's going to be medium because the soft tires, you saw what happened to Arif Asmi at the start. He was fast, he could get away with it, but then when the tires dropped off completely, he was just struggling to get the car around the track. So here in this case, I think for the drivers out in front, it's going to be mediums.
I tell you what, Luke Bannister is so good. He is just 4.5 seconds behind Naki Baslan, and Luke has made his pit stop. There he is, he's just locked up just a little bit. He's got Miko Nasi not too far behind for company, but there is Luke Bannister. He is our effective leader because he has made his pit stop. So has Nasi, so has Kaelin Chin. Alif Hamilton has stayed out for a long time as well. He's another who's decided, right, let's just wear these medium compound tyres into the ground.
Yep, and the fact that's actually Keith Lee Hoffman that he's going to overtake, because you can see on the timing screen on the left there, Hoffman is a lap behind us. Alif is under severe pressure from Berwin. This is like going back to the time where they were championship rivals, and well, almost pretty much no histrionics there. Josh goes around the outside and Alif drops back to 7. In fact, 7 seems to be the number that's haunting Alif in this round. He was 7 in that first race in qualifying and in the race.
But he hasn't made a pit stop. There's the problem for him. Josh Berwin moves up to P6. It's looking good for the Aussies. It's an Aussie takeover of the E1 Championship. Mohammed Ibrahim is out of the race. Oh, is he in the pits? That's fantastic. Yeah, Ibrahim, a 3rd stop into the pits for Ibrahim.
I think that time around he actually pulled the car into the garage because there might have been a problem there. Look at that, he's already a lap behind. Some mechanical melees or maybe an accident, he towed back to pit lanes. Whatever it is, he's actually at the tail end of the entire grid. So P19 after a brilliant first race, this is not going well for him.
Our race leader is Naki Baslan. Now Naki, we are approaching the 18-minute mark on medium compound tyres. He has still got a pit stop to make. Luke Bannister is the man in P2, 5.5 seconds down on him. Miko Nasi further down on him. How long can Naki wait on these tyres?
Not long actually, because of course medium tyres actually can go all the way to there. We saw that in the first race, the sprint race, that medium tyres can last. But by the 25th minute mark, they're going to go off. So he might try to stretch them all the way to dead and just probably go into the soft just to get fastest lap.
Well, that's it's been a difficult opening round of the season for Naki Baslan. So used to winning. Luke Bannister, wow, what a debut for young Luke. 3rd fastest in qualification, third fastest and 16 points in terms of race 1. Here, well, he's second overall, but Naki has still got that pit stop to make, and it's looking pretty good. Although Miko Nasi, welcome back, Mr. Competitive Miko Nasi. There is Nasi right on the tail. We have missed you, Miko. And Miko goes around the outside. And Miko, is he able to get the straight line speed down the straight? The answer is just as he goes around the outside, and we have an effective new race leader because Naki is into the pits.
Wow, that is almost like me, Valtteri Bottas in his prime, going around the outside there to take the lead away from Bannister. Now Bannister has the focus to get back here. The slipstream is so powerful, we don't even need DRS, so these cars there taking a lead out of certain cars like IndyCar, where overtaking is pretty much easier. And now Nasi will try to actually hold on to the lead here, but for how long?
Wow, there's best part of 10.5 minutes still to race, but Miko Nasi has made a huge contribution there. One lap down, out of the race is Mohammed Ibrahim. I can confirm Ibrahim is out of the race.
No, he's there. He's actually behind one of the EG cars. It could be Aaron Lim or it could be William Choi. Either way, he goes on the inside. In fact, that is Aaron Lim. So he takes Aaron for 18 places. Now Vantagetto we're looking at. There he's overtaken. Vantagetto is just in front of him.
I need to learn how to read the iRacing instructions, don't I? Aaron Lim is the man just behind him. The back up of the front, if we can return back up to the front. Miko Nasi has got a half a second lead over Luke Bannister. Now then, both are on medium compounds. Kaelin Chin is holding on into P3, but he's 2 seconds down on Bannister, and Perwin is a further 2 seconds down on Kaelin Chin. And Josh Thomas, my word, Southeast Asia is under threat. You've got a Finn based in Singapore, an Aussie based in Singapore, an Aussie in the top 5 places.
Well, Aussie and Singapore relations might be good here because they're actually out in full force in front. But yeah, Nasi then, whoa, that looks like Whelan Choi getting out of the way. Remember, he did take out Dominic Ang just now at the Interlagos, so Whelan Choi then nearly disrupting the race again. But luckily that time around, he got out of the way just in time. A bit of a baptism of fire here. A completely different game compared to Race Room, where the difficulty is much higher. Look at that. Goes wide, spins at Bigo de Pato. Would he get into it by his way? Nope. Saves the car, and luckily he can go back out of harm's way.
Sorry, Whelan, we were on you at that exact time. Now you've given us a little bit of entertainment. We'll disappear from you and go back to our race leader, Nasi, who cannot really establish much of a lead as he goes down that straight. They are on lap 19. Nasi and Bannister, this is going to go down to the line. It's only half a second at the moment. There's another 8.5 minutes still to race. So Miko Nasi will be under intense pressure throughout. How about the tyres? What will the tyres be like in another 8 minutes, Amo?
Now, I think they are on different strategies because Bannister was one of the very first guys to enter while Nasi was later. Nasi had the fresher tyres to actually overtake Bannister as we see Vantagetto get lapped by the both of them. This will be interesting. Fresher tyre for Miko Nasi, but towards the end, it will actually be more stale. So Bannister then will actually be, Nasi will actually have the fresher tyre towards the end. Bannister will have the harder ones, the tyres that will actually run out. So Nasi has to build up a gap here to make use of those fresher tyres.
We'll just break away from that lead at the moment. Muhammad Ali Hamilton, our defending champion. He's down in P8 at the moment. He's in front of Naki Baslan, who's in P9. Behind Mika Hakimi, who was at one stage the race leader. Inigo Anton, I just need to break away. Inigo Anton has yet to pit, you know. He's on the hard compound tyres. He was only one of 2 racers who went on the hard compound. He's yet to go in for his pit stop.
Interesting strategy from the Eurasia team. In fact, with the hard tyre that he can go on to, he's going to go inside. In fact, I think he's going to come in now. Yes. So presumably it's a soft tyre and he'll go all the way to the end. He might just chase for that fastest lap as well.
So, yeah, soft compound will be the ambition, I think, for Inigo. Let's see how quickly he can get in and out of the pits. He was in P8. Naqib goes past him. Arif Asmi goes past him. Let's get back up to the front of the leaderboard where this Nasi-Luke Bannister battle is building up very, very nicely. Thank you very much. And they are getting further and further away from Kaelin Chin. Your winner is going to come from these two.
Indeed. And if Kaelin can actually close up here, if the two with the lock points, it's going to be a 3-way battle for the lead. But I think that's a bit too far for Kaelin right now because both of them seem to be working together here, Nasi and Bannister, to not battle each other, to just gap themselves just slightly to actually pull away from 3rd place. and they're probably going to lock horns at the final lap if any one of those guys' tires would actually give up until then.
So they come onto their lap number 21. Nasi leads from Bannister. Here is Kaelin Chin in P3. Josh Perwin is closing in on Kaelin Chin. So rather than Kaelin looking forward, I suspect he's going to have to worry about what's going on behind him. Because you can just see on that same straight there that Josh Perwin is indeed closing. Chin's last time lap a 1:09.30. Perwin an identical 1:09.30 last lap.
Oh, matching times, matching pace here. So Kaelin and Josh is like pretty much naturally they're going to be together again because they really love locking horns. The two Australians, also best mates here in the sim racing scene, they can have a good battle it out. But Josh then, with a second place in that first race and a fourth here, or potentially third, he's going to actually be close on points with Bannister come the end of the first round. So he might just want that third place for himself to actually bolster his chances of actually leading the championship.
Josh Perwin hoping that Kaelin Chin gets caught up with a few back markers. It's been a good day for Perwin, as you quite rightly say. Second fastest in qualification, second fastest in race one, and here he's looking for a podium if he can get closer to Kaelin Chin. At the moment, that is not the case. Josh Thomas in 5, Arif in 7. A little bit further down, Inigo Anton has made his pit stop. Inigo has been in and out, and the end result is he drops 3 places.
And did he go for the soft? No, he went for medium. So interesting. I thought that he was going to go for soft here to chase for the fastest lap, which is incidentally held currently by Mohammed Ibrahim, who's also on a medium. 108.7 is his fastest lap time.
Hey, I can tell you, a man on soft compounds, 2 men on soft compounds, Arif and Naki. So, fastest lap is in theirs. Arif has just posted a 1:08.98, his fastest lap, and just 400ths away from the fastest lap of the race, which belongs to Josh Thomas.
Oh, okay, so Josh has actually, the other Josh, of course, has actually gotten the fastest lap of the race. So 108. No, it's actually 108.7 is the fastest lap of the race, which is held carried by Ibrahim. So, not far off, but if he's battling with Mika Hakimi here, that will actually support his chances of getting 2 bonus points to recover what has been a quite disappointing run by his standards.
Let's have a look at Josh Thomas. He slips under the radar, does Josh Thomas, doesn't he? P5 at the moment. He was just in front of Mika Hakimi, who was in the inset alongside Ali. Josh is 3 seconds behind Josh Perwin, 18 seconds ahead of that battle for P6. This has been a good weekend for Thomas as well. 2 points from qualification, 5th in race 1, likely 5th here in race 2. I'll take those points.
Apart from the incidents in that first race where he actually did take out the defending champion, so yeah, a bit scrappy though, but nonetheless, he's a solid racer, so be on the lookout for this guy as well, because he's one of those iRacing specialists that are waiting to actually take the championship by storm. In fact, looking at the top 5, they're all iRacing specialists, actually 6, because Mika has actually recently gone to iRacing and he's really good at it. Oh, well, never mind. Arif has overtaken him for 6, so first 7 positions, 6 of them held by iRacing specialists.
Let's look to the man at the front and let's focus on these final 3 minutes of the race. It's round 1 of the E1 Championship. Well, that was one of the back markers.
That was Whelan again.
We assume it's Whelan.
Not because green helmet and car number 77, that was Whelan again. So luckily he didn't take Miko and Bannister out of the race. That would have been absolutely disastrous for the racing driver. In fact, we're going to get a replay of that. He tried to get out of the way, and he got out of the way at the worst possible place, which is the run up to the line. And we've had accidents there before, including the likes of Mark Webb in 2015, where the Porsche was literally crumpled like an accordion. That time around, at least he just hit the side of the car and managed to get away with it. But that was a hair-raising moment for everyone involved.
Certainly was, but Miko Nasi is a pretty cool customer. Luke Bannister right on his tail. It's a tail ender just behind them. They've done so well. They've overtaken most of the group. I think it's Joaquim Garrido who is a lap behind. But this is your race leader, Miko Nasi. We have got 2 minutes to race, which is what? This lap plus 1?
3 laps, I think.
3 laps. This lap plus 2.
Wow, can you imagine we get actually a drag race to the line? Because we had that before, remember, back in 2019 race, Pierre Gasly just held off Lewis Hamilton right before the line to score his first ever podium with back then what was called Scuderia Toro Rosso. Now Nasi then will be off to his best start to the season ever in E1 if he can hold on to this, as Bannister goes around the outside coming to the center assist. Nothing to it there, he was on the long side, and Nasi still holds on to the lead.
So Nasi holds on to the lead. Bannister making concerted efforts. He knows the time is running out. How he'd love a win as he again makes an aggressive move around the outside.
Oh!
Nasi defends. Nasi is taken out by Bannister. A show of emotion from Miko Nasi as he drops down the standings into P4, and Luke Bannister is the new race leader. Love to see what the race officials have to say about that. Your thoughts, Amo Hazik?
I think that was an avoidable accident. Miko might have tried to close the door a bit, but Bannister just tried to move around the outside. Here we have the instant replay. We got a very good look at what happened here. So Nasi then closes the door. Oh, I think that's an entirely avoidable accident. I think the stewards might agree on that one. I'm going to say that. That was entirely avoidable. And Nasi, he could have actually let the door open slightly. Bannister had his line, and they hit each other. So will be interesting to see what the stewards have to do post-race. But that was an entirely avoidable accident.
We are back with Miko Nasi. We have got the final 30 seconds of this race. Luke Bannister is the man who is in the lead, but will he be penalised? Will it cost him a place? He's looking cool. He's looking like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, but Bannister leads. Kaelin Chin is the man who's in P2, and look who's really got close to him, Amo. Josh Perwin has closed that gap. Perwin is looking for back-to-back P2s.
Oh, wow. And that will mean that Perwin will take the lead of the championship if he finishes second. So battle between the Aussies. Aussie 1, 2, 3. So we can simply say Aussie, Aussie, Aussie here. But besides that, we're going to see a really good battle here for second place. And Kaelin now will definitely have to look in his mirrors. For the second race in a row, he has to defend off a good position here from a really fast driver.
Very quickly looking on to Luke Bannister as he comes round. The time is over, so when he finishes this lap, he will complete his first race victory. He's 4 seconds clear, so depending what penalty, if penalty, he gets, Luke Bannister is going to celebrate a first race victory. First race of the season for him as he comes round into the home straight. Luke Bannister takes the victory. That's a superb result for him. Kaelin Chin, can he hold off Josh Perwin? The answer is P2 for Kaelin Chin. 3 for Perwin. Miko Nasi limps home in P4 ahead of Josh Thomas in 5. But what that means is that Luke Bannister, whatever, despite the problems that we had in that incident involving Miko Nasi late on, Luke Bannister is first over the line, takes the checkered flag, and for now at least, Alex Young is the race winner.
Wow, definitely. What a great, exciting race it was. I think Luke definitely will keep the win because looking at the replays, Miko squeezed him too much. Just should have given Bannister a bit more space. I'll be very surprised if the stewards take action on that. But Luke, can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You crack a smile, mate. You just won the race.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wanted to have a look at the incident first with Miko. Yeah, I think what you said, he might have moved over a bit.
Yeah.
But maybe I moved over a bit, but
well,
yeah, it's very close.
I only saw one replay. From what I saw, your car looked pretty static. I think he just misjudged the situation. So at the moment, at least, I'm going to say congratulations on your first win. You won championship.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to get the first win on the first round.
Yeah. So take us through the race, though. I mean, you had the pace in the beginning. Miko overtook you, but then your car, you had the pace towards the end of the race, and you were able to take back the lead from him.
Yeah, I had the start, which was a bit crazy, as I expected, really. I managed to get out to the front, and then it was me and Ibrahim. Ibrahim was involved in an incident, and then I had my head down, just trying to do the best laps I could. I think I had about 5 seconds before the pit stop, but I lost out a bit to Mika in the pit stop, so I have to see what happened there. But then, yeah, he got past me, and I was catching, and then we had that battle at the end there.
It's amazed me, Luke, how the consistency you've shown throughout the entire day in the qualifying, in the sprint race, in the reverse grid. It's what a debut for you.
Yeah, definitely happy with it. We did a fair bit of practice for the event, just trying to learn the car, learn the track, the setup as well. I think we definitely still have more work to do with the setup and our driving as well. We saw with Ibrahim, he was crazy fast today, so more work to do, but definitely a good round one.
What about your teammate? I mean, there was a great element of competition, not just in this reverse grid, but earlier on as well.
True.
Yeah, it was good with Josh because we're both very similar pace. I think in quali we were half a tenth apart, so we're pushing each other, and then I think he was he third in the race? Yeah, really close to getting Kaelin on the line. Yeah.
Good strong finish for yourself, for Josh, and of course for the team. Alex, do you have any more questions?
No more questions. Well done. Good day for Black Arts, and we'll see you in round 2.
Thank you there.
Confirmation of the final results then. Luke Bannister, depending on what the stewards say, but Luke Bannister at the moment picking up the 25 points. Kaelin Chin in P2, a very good result for the Singapore-based Aussie. Josh Purwin really flexing his muscles on week 1 of 8 of the season. Miko Nasi barged out of a potential victory, but will get him P4. Josh Thomas makes it a very Aussie affair in P5. Alif, you know what, quietly got himself a P6 there, and useful points, 10 points for him. Mika Hakimi, one-time race leader in 7 ahead of Naki Baslan. Tough times for Nakib. He's used to winning, although he does win his personal battle against Dominic Ang from Stratos Motorsports. Inigo Anton, who went on hard compound tyres, left his pit stop very late in P10. Points right the way down to 15. Love to hear from Tunku Lay later on, because he was on pole position for about 10 yards and then he was pushed off. It's Alistair Young picking up points as well. Mohammed Ibrahim, winner of race 1, fastest by a country mile, out of the points in race 2.
Yeah, so much for us to dissect, so much for us to analyze. So we're going to go for a break. When we return, we'll get Alex's take, Dez's take, Amo's take, and we'll try to speak to a couple of the drivers involved in the key moments during the reverse grid race as well. We'll be back shortly. So, Alex Young, I mean, I was monitoring our Facebook stream. I was looking at some of the comments.
Yeah.
And straight off, the first comment I thought from Wei Song. I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Wei Song.
What was that start? There were cars flying everywhere, causing chaos.
Well, we'll have to talk to the guy on pole position later on, Tunku Jon. I think he was on pole position in the front row. It looks like he got too much wheel spin and then spun into the field, and then everyone just went into the side of him. So, I mean, it's first race of the season. A lot of these guys have not done any starts. And with, what, how many, 800 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower? If you light up the wheels, you're going to go backwards into the wall. So I think that's what happened. But I tell you who I do want to talk to is, we've just talked to the race winner, race 2. We need to talk to Miko Nasi. You know, kind of was leading that race. It was only 3 laps to go before he had contact with Luke and put him out of the race. Well, 4.
You know, we spoke to Luke just after the race finished. I think we have Miko now ready to come in. Hopefully we have some visuals of the incident. I think there was about 1:20 left for the race. It was right at the end. And
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it changed everything.
So Luke goes to the outside and Miko has to leave space, and he just doesn't quite leave space. It's very close to just being a racing incident, to be honest. I think Miko, gosh, he has to be. We know how tough these cars are, especially with netcode. And I feel Miko is going to be kicking himself. But I don't know. Let's talk to him, shall we?
Okay, Miko, I hope you're there. Hope you can hear us right now. We've heard Luke's take on it. He hadn't seen it back just yet. What about yourself? That incident?
Yeah, the incident had a look at it. It was basically left him just about enough room, and I think he just started turning in at the same time when there was just a car width there. So yeah, super unfortunate. That was we did look back at it about 10 times to make sure I did leave space there, but yeah.
Are you guys going to protest it?
Unlikely. I don't think there's
really feel for you though, because you've driven such a good race at that point. I thought you were quids in to win the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should have been a lot easier because I had a spin on lap 1, and then had to come back from there. So yeah, could have been a lot easier. Of course, Ibrahim had some scuffles as well. Lap 1, I was expecting it to be a fairly easy P2 until I had some contact.
Yeah, there was one real positive. You're slipstreaming behind Luke Bannister when you headed into P1. That was fantastic driving.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that we had so much pace on Luke, because I did catch him from about 6 seconds back, I think. About 2 of that was in the pit stop, so we made some time there. But yeah, super happy with the pace, and our engineer Davide as well helped massively today. So yeah, super happy with the pace, not happy with the results.
Yeah, just a disappointing end with just a minute or so left of the race as well. I mean, all you can do now is build. I'm sorry, I know it's all you can do now is to better your strategy, I guess, and hope for more better luck in the next race.
Yeah. Thanks. Awesome show, guys.
Thanks. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty honest there, Alex, and very disappointing. I don't know. I thought he was going to hold on.
Yeah, so did I. But you know, that's what I like about Mikko Nassi. He's such a straight talker. You know, he would have gone there, and go, yeah. But you know, he's super quick. But yeah, you know, he'll look at that and he'll be thinking about, okay, if I'm going to win these races, I can't afford any loose driving. And you could look at that, you could say, yeah, you know, Luke did turn in a bit early, bit unfortunate. But when you're fighting for the win like this and you're defending and you got the inside, you've got to try and give a bit more margin. You know, you're not doing a reverse grid race and you're trying to win on the last lap of the race and you just don't have the pace. You know, Mikko had the pace, he had the inside, he could have been a bit safer there. So he'll think about that and he'll be thinking, okay, rest of the season, you know, the standard's been raised, I can't afford these sort of mistakes.
We've spent a long time talking today about Mohammed Ibrahim because well, he was the best driver in the qualifying. He was the best driver in the sprint race. But then there was the incident in the reverse grid and it just changed his fortunes entirely. Yeah,
we need to look at that incident as well because it looked very close. There's Arif Asmi was defending the lead and he's defending the inside into turn 1, which is his right. And here is, okay, this is the end of it. We need to see the beginning of this. But then Ibrahim had the drive-through as well, so I think he must have had an issue with incident points or something. Here is a bit further in. It's just the same incident. So, okay, he's in the front. Asmi's trying to outbrake himself. I need to see, does he leave him space? Oh, no, he actually runs wide at the apex, so I think Ibrahim will have every right to be angry with that because Arif just ran wide at the apex and touched him. So Arif will definitely get a penalty for that and probably some incident points as well. But we need to talk to Ibrahim because what happened afterwards, because he had drive-thrus as well, and I don't know why the drive-thrus were there. Maybe he went over the incident points. Let's see if we can talk to him.
Okay. I think he's standing by here. Alex, do you want to have any questions based on what we saw?
So we just saw the replay. It looks like tough luck. I guess you're going to protest that, Arif Asmi running wide at the apex and taking you out. But what happened after that? How come why did you get the drive-thru?
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate. Arif was intentionally, trying to take me out because, 2 times into T1 he braked too late and he couldn't make the corner because he's fully locked up. He had to brake at least 10 meters earlier, so he was intentionally trying to take me out. And then unfortunately at the start I had a lot of contact and I had a contact with Arif as well, and I got all the incident points for something which is not my fault. And I just went over 20 incident points, and I'm not supposed to get a drive-through at 20. I'm supposed to get drive-through at 30, and I got drive-through at 20.
No, you get a drive-through at 20. You get a second drive-through at 30, and then you get disqualified at 35.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Misunderstood that then.
So, man, that's unfortunate. But you must take heart at least. I mean, the pace you had today is going to look very good for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the pace, I mean, the main thing I should take away from this round is the pace because I had massive pace, and this is still not 100%,
Wow.
This is still 80%, so.
Wow, that's incredible.
That pace was really apparent in the qualifying and the sprint race. Astounding. I think that about wraps it up. Mohammed Ibrahim, thank you very much.
Thank you
for the conversation.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll see you again very soon.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. The drive-through penalty, Alex. He wasn't aware.
Yeah. So he must have misread the thing because the maximum penalty is 35. So if you get to 35, you get disqualified. But in race 1, if you get 15 points, you get a drive-through. In race 2, because it's a longer race, it's 20 points, you get a drive-through. And then if you get to 30, you get a second drive-through. And then if you go to 35, you get disqualified. So maybe he must have seen the maximum 35 and thought, 35 is when the drive-through is. So, that's a costly mistake because he would have definitely, I think, finished in, even with that incident with Arif, I think he would have finished 3rd or 4th. So, but he has got the pace, and for me, he's got to be the early early favourite for the championship still.
Long way to go. Long way to go. But entertaining race because we saw the leader change so many times. Now, one of the early leaders was Arif Asmi. And
Yeah.
I think Des was saying or it might have been Ammo saying he might not be able to hold on with his pace, but great to see nonetheless. What did you make of... Yeah, here he is. He's right in the conversation. What did you make of the race overall? I mean, you took the lead early on, capitalizing on the chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to keep it clean, you know, just really race my own race. Really just, honestly, I just focused on getting away cleanly and not getting tangled in any incidents. And that was just what I did mostly for the start of the race. And then, yeah.
Yeah, so Arif, Ibrahim said you took him out intentionally. It did look like you ran wide at the apex. Looked like you locked up a break. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the replay for that one. It was not intentional, I can say that. Yeah, for me, honestly, I don't think it's too big of a deal. It was a racing incident. We're just pushing as hard as we can, and you know these things happen. So yeah, I think maybe strong words from Ibrahim, but nothing against him. It's just things can get a bit heated while racing, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, well, I think our chief steward, Rasmus, is going to have a very busy day looking at quite a few protests. Well, it was highly entertaining watching you, and we look forward to you in the next round.
Thank you.
All the best. Des was talking up Tunku Jon at the start of the race. He really wanted him to do well.
Yeah.
Wow, what a start. And he was the cause of it all, effectively. I'm trying to be polite about it.
Let's have a look then.
Cars were literally flying everywhere, Alex. They were flying
Okay,
across
there he
the
is on
air.
the left-hand side. Front row. See the start. Let's see how the start is off the line. Okay, this is the replay, so it's taking a while right now. It's not actually an instant replay. It's a slightly delayed replay. But it's coming along. Oops. Well, maybe it's not. But yeah, so it is really hard to start these cars, Adam. I just have to say, super, super hard to start these cars. And you really... If this is, you know, in real life, you spend a whole day just getting down there, starting and practicing. So, John, new to this car, I think. I'm not surprised, actually, to see so many cars. Because it wasn't just John. There were a few cars around the back also getting off the line and getting sideways. So, I'm not sure we're going to get the replay at the moment. But it would be nice to talk to John if we could.
Yes, I believe he's standing by right now. Tunku Jon, if you are in the conversation, you can just say hello so we can talk about what happened at the start there. Because... like I mentioned, I was monitoring the Facebook comments. Almost everything was about that starting incident involving you. You're smiling right now, which is a good thing, I guess.
Well, like Alex said, you know, it's not easy to start the cars.
Yeah.
And I had a good start in race 1, so I thought I could replicate it for race 2. But I think I had a touch too much throttle and then a bit too much wheel spin, and that was it. You know, everyone came from the back and it was carnage.
Yeah. If that was real life, that would have hurt a lot, I imagine.
Oh yes, for sure.
But John would not be smiling if it was real life.
Yeah, I mean, it's racing, you know, it happens. You got to be positive, and of course there's the next round, so it's important that we learn from our mistakes and move on to the next round.
Okay, I know Alex has a question, but we actually have the replay ready now.
Okay.
So let's just take a look once again at what happened at the start of race 2 today.
Yeah. John, you want to
just let
take us through
everybody
this?
talk.
Can you see this?
The screen.
No. Okay, I'm just talking. There you are. Oh, you got a tank slapper on, and then oof. And then you can see all the cars going off in sympathy behind you. Wow, carnage. That is a lot of cars disappearing upside down and inside out. Well, but I mean, this was your first weekend, obviously, in E1 in a very, very challenging car. How was it? Did you enjoy it?
I totally enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning the car, as you mentioned, and getting faster. But I think it's important that I also try and stay consistent. So that's key. And we are looking forward to the next round for sure.
Awesome.
Looking forward to see you bounce back as well.
Bounce
All the
back.
best.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank you.
in researching the next circuit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex, I also want to talk about something which I find quite interesting: the approach to the tires, what tires to take. Not too many softs out there. I think just 2 of the drivers, and also the strategy for the pit stops.
Yeah. So yeah, I think most people went for the medium strategy. I think that was the fastest strategy today. I saw a couple trying to go with the hard tires, and when you go with the hard tires, you want to try and prolong it so that you can stop later, and then you can put the soft tires on, which give you lots of grip. But I don't think that worked so well today. I think Inigo Anton tried it. I think Muhammad Ali also tried it. A few people tried it, but I think the medium strategy was faster today. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes through the championship, because the temperature will always change. So the drivers who can adjust the temperature, like if it's very hot, you can't run the soft tires. But if it gets very cold, maybe you can run the soft tires for both stints. So the drivers and teams that can adapt to that are going to be key. And even Mikko Nasi said that his engineer made a big difference in getting a little bit of pace just at the last minute for race 2. So as a team, they all have to, there's a team behind the drivers, just like in real life. There's a spotter, team manager, and the engineer all looking and going, all right, we need to do this. Okay, what's the temperature? What's the grip level coming along? And the teams that can stay on top of this are the ones that are going to have success.
And the pit stop strategy? When to pit, rather?
You also want to try, I think if you're going to go medium, it's always best to try and pit in the middle.
Okay, interesting. Let's get through some of the race highlights. We've just taken a look at a few key incidences, but there was plenty more that we enjoyed throughout race 2, the reverse grid. Alex, what really stood out for you?
Okay, so obviously the start was very interesting. Are we going to look at the highlights? Yep, so we go through the highlights. Here's the start. We'll have a look at the start again. Very entertaining on the very left. John, whoa, look at all these cars going. It's like watching, remember Spa in the rain, so many other incidents. And then this incident, Ibrahim through here at this point, but then, yeah, Arif definitely got wide at the apex, so I think he'll definitely get a penalty for that. Mikko Nasi then with this great move around the outside for the lead. This was the move of the race for me. Really sweet move around the outside. Slight lockup, but made it happen. But Luke Bannister was not done, and he came back at him around the outside, and then a small misjudgment by both of the drivers perhaps. Racing incident, Mikko Nasi not out the race, he still recovered to finish P4, but Luke Bannister was our race 2 winner today after Ibrahim winning race 1. Exciting race all the way through.
So confirmation of the final result. Luke Bannister ahead of Kaelin Chin and Josh Perwin. Black Arts Racing 1 and 3. Black Wolf in P2. Mikko Nasi from Finland but based in Singapore from Safe House just ahead of Josh Thomas. Solid day from Josh Thomas. And Muhammad Ali for quiet but efficient 10 points for the Flash defending champion. Bika Kimi, Naki Baslan, Dominic Anga. Malaysia 7, 8 and 9. With Inigo Anton, the best of the Filipinos in GT Radial Your Asia. We have got new names at the top of our overall standings. The round overall standings, 44 points for Luke Bannister. That is good. A P3 in qualification, race 1, and a win in race 2. Josh Perwin also very, very consistent. Second, and third. Mohammed Ibrahim got a fastest lap to pick up 34 points. Good round for Kaelin Chin and Josh Thomas. Mikko Nasi with 21 points. Alif, the defending champion, with 19. Also, well done, Dominic Ang of Stratos. He was the best of the Stratos racers ahead of Naki Baslan. Inigo Anton will always be on the point scoring board. 14 points for him. It's only round 1 of 8 though, but Interlagos has proved to be very, very fascinating.
Black Art Racing, they have laid a marker down for the rest of the drivers, for the rest of this championship. One final thing about today's race, Alex. Who was your standout driver? I mean, you could say Mohammed Ibrahim, you could say Luke Bannister, yes, but what about someone like Mikko Nasi? We just spoke to him, the way he fought back and only just lost at the end. Heartbreaking.
Well, Mikko Nasi had the overtake of the day for sure. That round of the outside move at turn 1 was fantastic. And I would say Mikko Nasi because he didn't quite have the pace in qualifying, but the way he curated both races, if he'd won the second race, I'd have said for sure. But that moment of just that misjudgment, and you have to lay it equally on both drivers' doors. You can't really give it to him.
Kaelin Chin?
Kaelin Chin was very steady as well. No, I'm going to have to go with Luke Bannister. He won that second race, so you have to give that to him. And race 1, he didn't have the pace, but he still picked up P3, and that's why he's leading the championship.
All right. Well, that's done and dusted in Brazil. Up next, we are flying after the Great White North. What can we expect in Montreal?
More of the same. Lot of long straights there, so there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming. So it might even be one of those tracks you don't want to lead on the last lap. You want to be in P2 or something. It's going to be that close. But a lot of homework to do for most of the class. Ibrahim is, he's a SWAT. He's got the A+ today. And a lot of the class is going to do extra homework to try and catch up.
Well, what's the difference? What's the difference between the track in Brazil, Interlagos, to what we can see in Montreal.
Okay, Montreal's a lot of long straights, but it's also a street track, so walls are very close. Doesn't matter for round 2 though, because damage won't be on either. So if you do hit the wall, you can survive. So people be aware of that. But a bit like Montreal, that is a bit bumpy. But you're going to see the cars shedding downforce. They're going to run very little downforce to be quick down the straights. All about braking and traction after that. So maybe a lot softer the suspension, a lot more compliance. The guys who can find the mechanical grip while having all the downforce of the car, they're going to be quick.
Okay, and let's not forget those who are new to iRacing will have that little bit more experience. We spoke to Tunku Jon, who's feeling more confident, it seems, and of course he'll be hoping to carry that through to the next race. But what else can we expect in Canada? Here's Amanda.
Congratulations to our winner at round 1 Interlagos. Next Wednesday, we'll be off to Montreal, Canada. It's the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. Originally named the Ile Notre Dame circuit, this man-made island is thought to be the toughest circuit on race because of the long straights and big stops. Having hosted major events like Formula 1, FIA World Sports Car Championship, NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix, this circuit will definitely be a crowd pleaser. More actions and thrills will be coming up in Gilles Villeneuve circuit next week, so stay tuned.
Many thanks there to Amanda. I think Des and Ammo have rested their voice boxes long enough now. I hope your throats have healed after such a exciting race, 30 minutes of non-stop commentary. What are you expecting, Des, first in Canada? What are you hoping for?
Hoping for more of the same, because we saw so many incidents that was really surprising. I do like the new platform that we are on. It gives it's a very spectacular view when the cars go flipping over. Hopefully the Tunku Jon, who I'm a big fan of, hopefully he can get off the start line in race 1 next time. Learning the cars is good. I know Amo loves this circuit, Gilles Villeneuve, though, because it is so tight. And as an e-racer yourself, you've raced it many times.
Yeah, I mean, in the F1 games, of course, because no other games have it, and we have mods for these tracks, for this track. But I agree with you, incidents will be aplenty, and the fact that the tight nature of the circuit, the walls, and the idea of actually going off track may not be ideal, because you can end up easily in the barrier. And in the last corner, the Wall of Champions, it can catch anybody out. So it'll be interesting to see that the 2 champions that we have so far in E1, they might end up there. Who knows?
Is it your favorite track, Ammo, of all the ones that Alex has selected for this championship?
Yeah, pretty much, because I like the point and squirt nature of the circuit, and the fast straights at the end, it's an absolute brake killer. You can literally lose the car if you don't actually brake it properly. So I love this circuit, and no doubt it's one of the ones I look forward to besides Indianapolis.
Okay, the president of the Tunku Jon fan club, Des Corkill, talk us through the standings, individual and team.
Certainly will, and these are brought to you by Evo Club Car Insurance, so thank you for that sponsorship. It's great to have you on board. E1 Championship as it stands after round 1 of 8. You are allowed to drop one of these rounds, your worst round, so a bad round doesn't necessarily mean the end of the season. But Bannister 44, Perwin 40, Ibrahim 34, Kaelin Chin 33, Thomas 24, Aussie flags abounding there. Mikko Nasi from Finland, Safe House 21, ahead of Alif, defending champion, on 19. Dominic Ang and Nakib 17 and 14. Inigo Anton, the best of the Filipinos, on 14 points. And in the team championship, because let's not forget there are cash prizes. Black Arts Racing, Josh and Luke really combining for 84 points. That's a huge total. Look out for them for the team. Flash, the defending champions, Mohammed Ibrahim. Spectacular day from Ibrahim. He's got a show reel all of his own there alongside Ali. 53 for them. Safe House, Safe as Houses with Mikko Nasi and Josh Thomas on 45. Stratos disappointed because they're behind WT Black Wolf. GT Radial Eurasia. Joaquim Garrido not picking up any points. 7 points today for Joaquim. But Inigo and Joaquim, they'll be in the top 5 there or thereabouts. Apex on debut. Team EGG through Aaron Lim and Whelan Choi picking up 6. E-Racing GP Icons, Tunku Jon, come on Tunku. And carefully picking up 2 points. Slipstream on their debut. Tough time for Alistair and even Vantagiato.
Many thanks for that. We pretty much have to wrap up the show, but a big thank you to, of course, our sponsors who have been involved in this from the start. Evo Club car insurance with Pro Mileage. It's brought to you entirely by them, Pro Mileage, where you can save 40% off your next car insurance renewal. Find out how much you can save at evoclubinsurance.com. Alex, thank you for just having this conversation with me, for analysing it for all the viewers out there. Des and Amo, brilliant commentators, and of course, most importantly, to the drivers and the fans who are watching this stream right now live. We'll be back same time, same place next week. My name's Adam Carruthers. Till then.
Thank you.